Yeah. It's Friday night. It is New York, guys. We are having a great time tonight. We had a great pre-show right there. Just great to kind of catch up with some great friends you guys are going to all be hearing from very, very shortly. I want to say what's up to everybody. I see Roger File out there. He says, what's up, Mooch? What's up to you, Roger? Guys, before we get started, go ahead and feel free to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 11,000. And Mooch hasn't even started making videos yet. Maybe I'll do that 1 year. We'll find out. Nonetheless, it's going to be a great show. I'm very excited about tonight. Lots of news, lots of great people. And actually, as you can see right here on the left here on the panel, there's even more folks yet to come. There's at least one coming, more, maybe two. You never know. You never know. That being said, guys, look over at the description there. That's right. I wrote that myself. I'm like an author. I'm an author and a panel member at the same time. It's amazing. Right above that is the join button, guys. If you'll take a second and think about joining the Mooch Maniac family members, it truly means a lot to me and to the channel. So if you don't mind, I will go ahead and call them out one by one, and then we're going to get started in introductions and get into today's hottest topics. I want to say thank you so much to the great Sir X-Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Frostbite Slash, Zombilla Ice Cream, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, All-Round Gamer, TrueWiddy, Kn1ght Ripper7, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, Punkidish, the great BRAP, Jamie, Lady Foxfire. I hope Lady's in the chat. There she is. She says, hi, Mooch and everybody. What's up, Lady? How you doing tonight? Replicant, Damien, Evan, Fastbender, our major Mooch Maniacs, Supreme Samurai, Gaming with Persona, who's going to end up buying Vanguard. He just doesn't know it yet. Danelle Brown, Smokes 901, That Guy Smitty, 4-Star General, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs. Welcome back home, Deadpool. Great to have you here with us. Strictly Gaming, Rated D Demonic, Fork Boy Gaming, Tactical Gamer, Sean Slomka, The Wise Old Gamer, Windingo Rex, Brian Carter, The Great Marty Bison, MexJ88, Remarkable Knights, The Great Percolator 9000, and our honorable mentions. I can't believe some of our family members have left. It's like they went off to college and they didn't even tell us they were going to leave. Custoids X, where are you? Sergeant Salty Nuts, Selene Chilean, Humacast, Vegeta, Wraith the Emperor, Wilmy Hood, and the forever Mooch Maniac, Longshot 316. Guys, go ahead and tweet it out. Feel free to hit a couple of those fun buttons that YouTube just gives you to do. Shout out to Mizzle T Shizzle. He says the super chat's working. Hit the freaking like button. Happy Halloween weekend. It is a great weekend. It really is. I love Halloween weekend. It is an absolute blast. Love to kind of get dressed up, have a lot of fun. There's parties. There's reasons to have some great adult beverages. That being said, let's get into this fantastic panel because we got a lot to talk about and not so much time to do it in. Let me start with the one and only, and I am eager to hear the man. He's been on fire on Twitter this week. The great Crap Gamer. Crap, welcome back to the show, buddy. It's Friday night. East Coast.
It's Friday night. Let's go.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Ready.
Crap.
I'm excited, man. I got some Coke Zero.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I'm ready to go, man. Let's get this going.
Let's
Woo!
do it, Crap. I love it. I love it. And then I've got another buddy here. You guys know him, another usual suspect. He's all the way from Redmond, but he lives in Connecticut. It's a conundrum we still can't figure out. The Xbox defense lawyer, which again might get the night off because there's a panel member on tonight that has a judge. He's the judge. We've got a lawyer and a judge from the Xbox defense team tonight. The great Xbot 448. Xbot, how the hell are you doing tonight, buddy?
Yo, what is going on, Mooch? What is up, panel? And to the judge, you got the check, right? You got the check. It was in the
Absolutely,
mail.
yes.
Got it. Yo,
certified.
We are working together. I do got to say, shout out to Bandai Namco and Game Pass because I have gotten into Scarlet Nexus, and you guys have not tried that game yet. I highly recommend it. It is incredibly fun. But I can't wait to get into the topics. Let's do this, man.
Appreciate that, buddy. And guys, you know him as BRAP, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, but tonight he wants to be known as Meta World Peace, maybe. Who knows what he's going for? The great BRAP is back after a couple-week hiatus. BRAP! It's great to have you back, buddy. How are you this evening?
It's great to be back.
It is great.
And I want to make a big announcement here on Crossfire.
Please.
BRAP is rebranding to Meta. Now, I'm having a little bit of a legal battle with Mark Zuckerberg, but that's okay. That. I got Tim Dog. Tim Dog and I are going to go over to Zuck's house and let him know what time it is. I'm joking. That's not going to happen, but anyhow.
I love
Great to be back on.
I love it. BRAP, great to have you back here, buddy. Love it. And listen, another usual suspect may be joining us after he gets out of work. We'll find out the great gaming forte will be joining us. But let's get into our special guest that we have here. Just somebody that I'm very excited to have back on the show. I actually podcasted with him last night. So it's great to have the great Sir X-Man back on the show. He's not just a Mooch Maniac family member. He's also a president. Great to have you, Sir X-Man. How are you this evening?
I'm good, and I got the perfect name for you, BRAP. Meta BRAP.
All right.
Here we go.
It's so simple that it's perfect.
Yeah, I'd wear that on a shirt. I really would.
Me too.
Actually,
I do that.
You're onto something, Sir X-Men.
Yeah.
Seriously, I might.
You know,
I might
you
change
know,
it.
I got you, bro. You know, I got you. But hello, everybody. I'm just here to talk gaming, have fun, keep it neutral, and keep it with love and respect.
That's one of the hardest things to do, but we're going to see if you can live up to it, Sir X-Men. If anyone could, it certainly could be you, Sir X-Men.
I always do.
Yes, you do. And then I've got our big special guest here tonight, buddy. It's great to have the great xCloud Tim Dog. To me, it's just Tim. Tim Dog is back on the show. Tim, honestly, it's been too long, buddy. It's great to have another New Yorker on. I occasionally am able to get Jez7780 on, who's another New Yorker, who's just as loud as we are. Buddy, great to have you back on the show, buddy. A lot of great things to talk about. We already got sports out of the way. So welcome back to Crossfire. How are you this evening?
Very happy to be here, and thanks for the Xbox Judge label.
Absolutely.
I like that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. It's a good show. You are awesome at just listening to you just do what you just did. You're really good at that, man.
Thanks, Tim.
Like I always said, you are, a really talented broadcaster, podcaster, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, you guys know me from Twitter or Xbox, a big Xbox guy. So we should have some good discussion here today.
We are going to have a great discussion, Tim. And actually, I'm going to always start with the guest on the hot seat. So I'm going to go ahead and read Chris Jones. Shout out to Chris Jones. He says, have a great show, Mooch. Great weekend, everyone. Great to see Tim Dog, my brother. So Chris is, thank you so much for that super chat, buddy. Truly means that. Guys, before we even get rolling, by the way, Lady Foxfire is making a game tonight. Lady Foxfire, please, I hope you're using watered down vodka. She says, first Game Pass plug, take a shot. There's going to be a lot of Game Pass talk tonight. Also, the great
You might
Jeff,
not remember the end of the show.
I was just going to say, she might not even get to the second half. Jeff Grubb is here too tonight. Shout out to the great Jeff Grubb. And we're blessed by the Pope himself. Xbox Pope Art is here. Pope, I know it's late for you over there in England, but I truly appreciate you being here. Yes.
Mooch, real quick, let me give a shout out to Xbox, can't even talk, to Pope, Xbox Pope.
Xbox Pope.
Yes, thank you. Big shout out to him. I actually got the Needler Xbox control that he designed.
I saw
that in the mail today, so thank you, Pope. I really appreciate that, man. I love it.
Did you see his plasma sword design?
He's so talented.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness! I hope that one makes it to the store.
Well, Pope, while we're talking about the Pope, let me know if you're going to be making. Supposedly, Tim, he's supposed to be coming to New York City this holiday. I don't know if that's still on the agenda, but Pope, let me know if you're still coming to New York. You know, we owe you dinner and drinks. We gotta hang out. We gotta meet up again. So great to have everybody here, guys. I do want to kind of get started here. Guys, please do hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and tweet it out. Hit all those buttons, will you? Tim, I'm going to go ahead and put you here. Well, first and foremost, we'll start with, I want to start with a little fun discussion here. I mean, I want to start with Guardians of the Galaxy first and foremost, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes in a second. But, this is a game that's a great example of people saying this is going to be just like Marvel's Avengers. It's not going to do very well. It's what is it there? Idios Montreal. If I'm saying it right, I apologize if I said it incorrectly. This game, I think this. Idios, thank you. I think this is a fantastic game. I'm loving every minute of it, and I just want to kind of just quickly run down. I know some people on the panel have it. Tim, have you gotten a chance to play this game at all, or not yet?
I bought it, but I didn't play it, and like you, I'm surprised at the way it's doing. It seems like everyone's loving it.
This has been a surprise. I know that Crap has been playing it. I've been seeing him posting pictures. I saw BRAP also picked it up. Crap, you're loving this, are you not?
Yeah, I love the game. You know what? When we saw the E3 stuff, I said people were like, "Oh, what were the best games that you saw?" I said Guardians of the Galaxy, man. That was one that I had to have. I had it pre-ordered since you were able to.
Yep.
And and it didn't disappoint. I saw what other people just saw an Avengers reskin. I saw something different.
Well, that was also a fear of a lot of people's, right, Crap?
Yeah. The thing is with the Avengers is there's so many of them, and the way they did that, and actually the campaign on Avengers is pretty good, and the gameplay I think what really hurt Avengers is the online and the microtransactions, and they're really kind of egregious and things like that. So I think that really hurt it. But when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy, I knew it just looked so good, and it was a single player only game. And to be honest, the music really carries it. What's
really
real
does.
interesting is that the developers really got into it because the developers of this game formed a band right? And that's the band Star-Lord. And they created 10 songs, a full album, and all the songs and lyrics and everything are available in the game. So that band Star-Lord is actually developers that got together and they sound like an 80s band. It's awesome. I think that they did a good job. And not only did they do a good job with it, but yeah, it's fantastic, man. And you know what? I think that the way that the voice cast is, and I think that there's a real chemistry there, and there's like humor and it's funny, and you know, it's like one of the to me it's almost like Insomniac Spider-Man in a way that you forget about the Guardians of the Galaxy movie because everybody's going to be like, that's not them, that's not Chris Pratt and them.
I was just saying
about that. Yeah, you forget about it pretty quick because there's such a good characters and the dialogue's really good and the story's really good and you know just everything you kind of do, it just kind of blows me away. It's one of the best games. I'm gonna say this hands down, and this might be a little bit weird to say, but my favorite game that I played so far this year, the best current gen game that I played.
Crap, you're not alone. People have been saying this is game of the year material.
Yeah,
are you going that far?
I understand that it. Yeah, I definitely put it up there because, again, like this year in particular, I would have to say overall, the games that I enjoyed the most have been older games that were re-released, like the Mass Effect trilogy, Alan Wake, you know, those games. Like the other game that I enjoyed the most was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, but this even has that topped, in my opinion, you know, because it's just been just an amazing kind of experience so far, and I'm only on chapter 6. So, you know, I just absolutely love it. They nailed it. If you haven't played it or you were on the fence or you thought it was just an Avengers clone, it's not. It's not. It's honestly not. It's completely different than Avengers. It's like it's just so much fun, and I'm having a blast with it. I love the fact that it's a linear type game too. You know, not everything has to be open world, you know, and they really nailed that with this. I think they just did such a good job with it. And, you know, the voice acting, the music, the setting, like you're seeing on the screen, like that's how you start off. And there's also flashbacks to when he's like a teenager and things like that. So they did a fantastic job with it. I love it. Kudos to them. I think they nailed it. People probably, you know, made fun of me when I said it was a game that I was going to get back when they
I
first
remember
showed it off and announced it.
No, now people it's a surprise.
Are loving it. So yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
And you know, BRAP, I want to hear your take on it too. I know you're playing it, but I do want to say a quick shout out. Jeff Grubb actually he agreed with you. He says the story is on point, just as good as Spider-Man's. I agree, but I like Crap's point to it, where he said when you're playing, you actually do take your mind off the movie. That's how good these voice actors are. I do want to say that I think that Drax, I think that Rocket, and I would say even Gamora to a certain extent, I could see the personalities and voices blending in quite well. Of course, I mean, Groot's Groot. But I mean, I do think Star-Lord takes maybe an hour to get used to, but then you get used to him. He still plays the iconic part that Chris Pratt played. Is he Chris Pratt? No. But even Jeff Grubb said they made the melee in this game kind of suck so bad, but it sucks in a good way. It's like when Chris Pratt was kicking those aliens in the beginning of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And they do the same, it's the same punch action, it's the same kick. It is quite funny. It's an unbelievable experience. And I got to tell you, BRAP, I'll ask you because Crap did a great job. BRAP, I don't think I'm overselling this. I'm really enjoying this game. I'm on chapter 4, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I like a lot of people thought that this was going to be a Avengers clone, and look, Avengers. I thought Avengers the like intro story, whatever that you play, that wasn't bad, but the rest of it was like poo for me. But this game, and I wasn't going to play it, but then I started seeing everyone posting on Twitter, and then I started hearing people talk about it and say, well, how, like, this is kind of like the surprise game of 2021. So I said, the hell with it. I'm going to pick it up. I got the deluxe edition and I fired it up. And this scene right here, Mooch, you seen that we're watching right now?
Yes.
When I saw this, I was like, I'm going to like this game because there was a little bit of nostalgia factor here. That room with the wooden paneling, that's like the 80s. That's kind of like what I grew up in. There's a lot of pop culture references. There's a Rolling Stone magazine. That poster there, it's supposed to be Slayer, but it's called Flair.
Flair.
That was kind of interesting. I guess they couldn't get Slayer's the band Slayer to agree to license or whatever.
I saw a play off the Starman movie as well.
Yeah, Starman. But there is a Tron poster.
Yes.
And there's also a Rubik's Cube. But outside of that, though, I'll say this: like my concern with this game coming in was that because I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and obviously when I think of Star-Lord in any setting outside of a comic book per se, I think of Chris Pratt doing the voice of Star-Lord, right? And I think of Dave Bautista doing what's his face?
Drax.
I can't remember the name now. Drax, thank you. And I forget who plays Zamora. I forget the actress's name.
I don't remember the actress's name, but I can picture her. Yes.
And then Bradley
Zoe
Cooper.
Saldana.
Yes, nice. Crap.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crap. And
A
then
plethora of knowledge.
yes, Crap.
Yeah.
Crap is very knowledgeable.
I told you, if there's ever a
Crap,
Trivial Pursuit, like some sort of tournament, Crap has got to be on the team. We're going to take home the $25,000 jackpot. Go ahead, Brap. I apologize.
No. And then obviously, with Rocket Raccoon and Bradley Cooper voicing that, I was thinking how are they going to pull this off? And my concern was with Avengers, I just wasn't vibing with Avengers because of Iron Man. You think of Iron Man, you think of what's his name, Robert Downey Jr.
But these actors did a better job of coinciding with the movie actors. Whereas I agree with you, Thor was a little bit lethargic, if you will, in the game, and yet he was not Tony Stark at all. That actor, and I didn't like the Captain America was
that was
awful.
Nolan. What's his name?
I'm not. That's not critiquing them. Those are very talented voice actors. But you got to remember something. They are very talented voice actors for video games. They create. That's what they do. Where in here, I felt like, and I hope it's not discrediting at all, but I feel like these voice actors deliberately intended to act. They act just like the movie, and I thought that was a welcome. That's a warm, welcoming feeling coming from where you're going to put in about 20 hours into a game. I think you need that to keep you into this, and the writing is unbelievable. This to me is a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie that you control. That's what this is.
I was going to say, Mooch, to your point.
The huddle up and stuff was just hilarious. I love that part. You know what I mean? The way that they handled that and just kind of the campiness and the fun of it. It was just really good, man. It's such a well-crafted game. They nailed it. I thought, just such a good game. I'm enjoying. I can't wait to get done here so I can finish it.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna finish it, Crap. That's quite a bit to that game. I think
probably not gonna finish it. Yeah, but I'll get further into it.
You'll get further into it. Well, let's say this. I want to say shout out real quick to the great Jimmy Harrison. He says, sitting up here with popcorn, listening to my favorite podcast. Love you, brothers. Let's get it, Jimmy. Thank you as always. Jimmy comes back. He says, wow. Picking up Guardians right now for my PS5. Jimmy, you won't be disappointed. And believe me, if you are, I'm sure I will hear about it on Twitter. And then the great Sin Vendetta's here. He says, there is no crap gamer that I appreciate more than the crap gamer that talks about a game he really likes. Always enjoy hearing those takes. The great Sin Vendetta is here, and I can't help but agree with him. He's 110% right.
Yeah, guys, you know what? I mean, listen. I'm honest about it, right? So this year in general, there's been some gems, but overall, I feel like we haven't got the group of games that we expected, right? If we had just think of the games if we would have got them this year, like we were supposed to. The Horizon Forbidden West, we were supposed to get that what the hell is it? That damn game, Batman Arkham Knights or whatever it is. That was
Gotham
supposed
Knights.
to be this
Gotham
year.
Knights,
yes, Gotham Knights. Yeah, we were supposed to get that this year. We were supposed to get Harry Potter this year. We're gonna get those next year, so next year is gonna be phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
But because those games got pushed back, a little bit lackluster. Like I said, the games that I enjoyed the most so far were, in terms of new games, was Ratchet and Clank was my favorite, and now Guardians of the Galaxy is. But it was that, and then there was old games. It was I stormed through the Mass Effect series, and I played through those. I put 200 hours in those. They look great. They played great. I played through the DLC for the first time because I never had the DLC. I got them on the 360 when they launched, and I wasn't really a DLC person. You know what I mean? When I'm done with the game, I'm pretty much done with it. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And so obviously, it was a little bit of a letdown year personally.
It is very rare crap that I go back for DLC that you bring that up. I don't really go back to DLC too often. I have, but it's got to be a game that I was utterly head over heels in love with. Yes, I agree.
See,
Destiny.
Destiny. What I did with.
I heard that.
Like what I did with Ghost of Tsushima, right? I did the whole game again.
Oh, so good.
I did.
Right.
I did the. You know what I mean? I did the whole game again so that I could get into it. Otherwise, I just felt like I wouldn't. You know what I mean? You forget what you're doing and things like that. So coming off the back end, like over the past month and a half on PlayStation 5, I played through Death Stranding, beat that with the new stuff. Played through Ghost of Tsushima, beat that with the new stuff. Played through Kena, finally beat that.
Yep.
And then on the Xbox side, I played Alan Wake remastered, and then Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's just been really, really good games, man. I'm like it's.
Well,
fun.
you said it. We've had an amazing 21, but 2022 is looking to be like the old 2007, right? It's looking to be an unbelievable year.
Yeah. Listen, like I know, like I'm kind of a nerd, so like a Harry Potter game. I'm looking forward to that. It's like an RPG.
Yeah.
You know, there's the Gotham Knights, there's Suicide Squad, there's a Gollum Lord of the Rings game, there's God of War, Horizon, Forspoken. You know what I mean? Starfield. There's just next year is going to be probably one for the ages.
No, I completely agree.
Elden Ring.
If everything.
Elden Ring too
really
in February. That's not. You know, Crap's not going to go for anything Dark Souls.
Come on, Crap. We gotta get you on the Dark Souls bandwagon, man.
Nah, that's okay.
Shout
Mooch
out to Jimmy.
Can handle that.
Yeah, I take care of that. I felt Crap in on that one. Like, Crap,
great games.
Here's the great, the not so great, and the ugly on that one. Shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison. He's back. He says, I trust you, Mooch. And if Crap says it's good, I am most likely in because he appreciates quality. Shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison.
It is good.
And Steady Flows here. He says, donate into one of the realest gaming podcasts out here on YouTube. Steady Flow, thank you very much for that, man. That truly means a lot. Guys, we're almost over 300. Please go ahead and tweet it out. Let people know. Call a family member. Call a friend. Let's.
Hey, Mooch.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I had a spin key for that game.
If I had to say, like, if people are like, what level quality is it, man? Arkham City, Spider-Man, Insomniac games, it's on that level of quality, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm truly enjoying it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, Mooch. You know what?
Yes,
you know what? One thing I noticed about this game, Idios Montreal or Adios.
I always say it wrong.
Adios.
I say E, but
it's
Adios
Montreal.
Yeah.
Adios.
Not saying goodbye, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm saying goodbye, right? In Spanish. Adios. Yeah, adios, Montreal. Adios, Montreal. Adios, Montreal. I mean, they've made the Tomb Raider games. There's definitely some like when I was playing this,
Tomb Raider,
and some of the action,
talented.
some of the action sequences in this game and dialogue as the action's happening reminds me a lot of Tomb Raider. So I see a little bit of that DNA in there. And it works perfect for
but
this
it's the
game.
writing, BRAP. It's we're really neglecting the writing.
Yeah.
The writing.
Writing's great. Yeah.
I want to say one more thing to the audience here because we do have a couple other topics to get to, but I really want to stress this. This is one of the only games, and guys, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me. I want to know if you guys can either tell me where I'm wrong or where I've missed a game. This is one of the only games that it's not like you play through and then there's dialogue, and then you play and then there's dialogue. There's dialogue and banter, like the movie.
They banter
through the entire, and it's not repeated. It's not repetitive. Like get off my foot, Rocket. No, get off my foot, Quill. No, get off my foot, Rocket. They don't. It's, you know what I mean? It's
you
not
have
like
a choice,
that.
Mooch. That's the cool part, right? It'll give you a choice, like where other people are bantering or maybe arguing.
Yes,
it'll give you a choice.
But
like
it changes. But then it changes the conversation. Crap.
Yeah, exactly. You can either encourage them to keep arguing or rally them or
like
whatever.
Mass
And I think
Effect is.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. People were asking me to compare it to a game. It's kind of plays like Mass Effect.
Well, it does have a Mass Effect-esque to it. Yes,
it does. Well, it kind of plays like that to me. Like,
well, the last one,
right? You mean like the story, the way the story,
Andromeda,
the dialogue choices, the dialogue choices.
Yeah. It's like it's really, and plus your teammates help you. Like Mass Effect, you can power them up, and then they help you. And I just so good. Just such a good.
It's not. Game. I want to say it must be like Andromeda, and I didn't play Andromeda, so tell me if I'm right or wrong. But it's not. It gives you 2, at most 3 dialogue choices, and they're very, very simplistic. Whereas the ones in Mass Effect, especially 1 and 2, like every choice was like 7 paragraphs. It was like,
and you choose their upgrade too. Like in Mass Effect, you can choose who gets upgraded depending on how much.
Well, you can do that here too.
You have. Right, and looks like it's based on that principle. That's a good principle to be on.
Yeah, shout out to Optimus is back, but he says Guardians Game of the Year. You're not the only one saying that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I think even BG said it today.
I told you that last night that people were considering that for Game of the Year.
This is true, Sir X-Man.
Believed me.
I believe you. Yeah. I got to buy an I Believe Sir X-Man t-shirt. You know what I mean? And wear it.
I still ain't got my mug yet, so I don't want to hear about it.
What do you mean you didn't get? I told you I sent the mug. I have a receipt. There's a receipt.
They sent it to the wrong person then.
You gave the wrong address. Your neighbor's probably like, this is an outstanding Crossfire mug.
They're like, wow, look at
like, what is Crossfire? Listen, my neighbor.
You wait and see. You're going to go get your mail. You're going to be walking out there. You're like, where'd you get that mug? You might be enemies with your neighbor after this.
I will send you the money to send it.
I don't need it. It's on me, Sir X-Man. It is on me, Sir X-Man.
Ground, because I want to make sure I get it.
I might even drive it to your house. We'll see what happens.
It is a quality bug.
Oh, trust me, I saw it, and I'm looking forward to putting my coffee in there.
I got to get Tim Dog one, too.
I was drinking coffee out of it this morning. It was great.
It's great.
You didn't put a shot of anything in it?
I do. I take a sip out of it and immediately just yell, great! I don't know why.
Well, you guys use your
purpose.
Mine
it's on
is
purpose.
On display in the kitchen.
I appreciate that, X-Bot. The poor kids, they're like, what's this?
Dropping it.
Yeah.
Why did I do this to myself?
All right, guys. Listen, I want to switch subjects, guys. This is an outstanding topic. Love the game, guys. Do consider it. If you're on the fence, I would nudge you into buying it. And I don't like to do that very often. It's that much fun.
Steam key, bro. I'm trying to get it on PC,
man. Just enjoy it on console and put your feet up on the coffee table, will you?
No, relax gaming chair, bro. I got a relaxed gaming chair. I'm good.
Let him have the best experience possible. Get it on PC.
Well, those gaming chairs. I'm sitting on one of those PC gaming chairs right now, and I got news for you. After 2 hours of them, you need like 6 Advil. All right, look, let's get to another topic here. I've got the great Tim Dog here, and I got to be honest with you. I'm very excited to get into this. Now, Tim, we had the showing this past week of the Halo Infinite campaign overview. And it gave us a glimpse into, and I want to say shout out to K-Mega, and I want to say shout out to Dark Optimus, who I was on Next Podcast last night. Shout out to Xbox show. Great show last night. They really kind of went in depth into the lore for me for Halo, and they kind of filled in some of the things that maybe I didn't pick up. But, Tim, I want to know your take. You watched what I saw, right? I believe it was like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something along those lines. And I want to ask you, like legitimately, when you saw it, because I didn't. I got a better understanding yesterday. But I didn't know prior. I was still kind of confused. I liked what I saw, but I was confused on the essence of what the campaign was still about. The way they described it, Tim, it came off as it could be Destiny with public events. There's going to be, an ongoing story where there's no real finish, which is fine. We know Halo's not going to end on Halo Infinite. We knew that. But I'm saying, like, where did you come off after your viewing of the 6-minute show? Was that enough for you to go, okay, now I know what campaign is? Because I was a little left in the dark after that show.
Well, I think overall they're taking a different approach with the open world and the outposts. People are comparing it to Far Cry. Overall, I think when Chris Lee had the game, as you know, this game has been in a lot of development hell, as they call it. But when Chris Lee had it, I think the game was a lot different as far as the way that you went about the game and how you, I guess the events they say you can go whichever way and tackle it however you want. I do think that Staten talked about how he finished the game twice and they made some changes. From what I've heard, there's been real progress as far as like the campaign in the last year, and that's because of Joe Staten, another guy that people don't talk about, but he was also brought on the project, Pierre Hines. For me, listen, I'm gonna go into it and play the game, and I'm sure it's gonna. Right now, I'm very excited. I was honestly, when they showed the game, I was mostly concerned about the looks of it. I'm not really. I mean, Halo 5 was atrocious story-wise, so they definitely have to fill that. But I do think that they made that a point, and that was a point early on that they have to hit the storyline, and that was a big problem with 5. It was the number one problem. But going into the demo, I was wondering about the graphics and how it was going to show. Mm-hmm. And from that perspective, I saw it obviously from the phone. The bitrate was down, and I said, you know what, it looks good, but I want to see it on, a 4K stream. And I turned on my OLED, and I put the 4K on, and yes. I'm like, this is looking good. Now, is it a top tier graphical game like a Forza Horizon 5? I would give that a 10. It's not on that level, but I do think that it is much improved from last year. That's what they needed to do most of all.
Right.
and they hit those points. I'll tell you right now, the analytics of the Halo was crazy. They were trending yesterday, still trending, or 2 days ago, is trending on, a lot of people just talking about the game. They're very excited about the game. So I feel I think it's going to kick the shit out of everything when it comes out. It's going to be huge.
I tweeted out, Tim, that you were going to be on the show and we were going to talk about Halo. And the very first tweet under it was, "Oh, here he goes. He's going to talk about Halo. Why would we not talk about Halo?"
Well, listen.
Yeah.
I love Halo, so I've been listen. It sucked last year. They screwed up bad. They know they screwed up bad, and it just shows a year. And with the right people, they have made a lot of strides. And like I said, this is all we're going to be talking about in December, in my opinion. I think the multiplayer already showed it's top tier, and the campaign. If they nail the campaign, then you're dealing with a double whammy, a huge game.
Yeah, the campaign means a lot to me. Go ahead, Xbot. I want to say the campaign really was the shining point for me. I want to see more of it.
This for Mooch as well, because this is something that I've heard. It's something I've heard from Mooch as well in terms of continuing story. All right, think about it this way: Halo 1, 2, and 3. Did Halo 1, 2, and 3 have a beginning, a middle, and an end? Did they? Mooch.
You asking me? Yeah, I thought they did.
That's what you think about now, because there was still an overarching story with
Absolutely.
Halo 1, 2, and 3. All right, but it had a beginning, a middle, and an end. So just because they're gonna add, kind of like what would be the Halo 2 or Halo Infinite 2, kind of like later on,
right,
on this game, doesn't make it mean that there's no ending for Halo Infinite. But there's an overarching story that's going on as well, and that's what the content that's coming in. Just think of them as sequels that you don't necessarily have to buy separately. That's exactly what they're doing when it comes to Halo in terms of this whole kind
Here's
of like
the thing, and I get that, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, and we said it as a joke earlier, but it's very Destiny-esque. And the thing about that thought is, listen, what Bungie was able to accomplish, and remember, they had a rocky start out the gate too. Will 343 be able to continue that type of path? And I'm not saying they're going to make it like Destiny. I said esque.
Yeah.
It's funny. A shout out to a few people in the chat. They're asking. So Tim, they're asking me, so I'll ask you. And I don't get me wrong. If you say you're not 100% sure, I'm not either. Still, I'm still curious to what's the main goal? And I think that K-Mega, and again, Dark Autumn has really kind of told me yesterday.
Sir, I said so.
Go ahead.
As well.
Yes, you did. No, Xbot, you did. You did. But I remember that they kind of took over, but you also did. Well, go ahead. If you can fill in, that's fine. I was asking Tim because when I got done watching it, I said, okay, it looked like gameplay from Halo, no doubt. But I didn't know what's the mission? What is the clear mission, like the story? Like, remember 5? It was the Master Chief versus Locke and betrayal and right. Well, listen, no, wait. I wasn't even going there,
They
Tim.
screwed that up.
No, but it was clear what we thought we were getting into. I'm just saying, as we go into this one, there's not a clear path to the story.
Well, I mean, have you played Halo Wars 2?
I did not play Halo Wars 2.
That intro with Atriox? Woo!
Yeah, I suggest you play Halo Wars 2, and that could maybe fill you into where this is leading.
I have Halo Wars. I should play it. I really should.
Play it. It's an amazing game. Even if you don't play it, you can actually watch the cutscenes, and you don't have to deal with it. But they really nailed it down there, and they built the character up, Atriox, and that's my concern. If there is a concern, because I mean, they'll say Tim does have no concerns. My only concern is that we haven't seen Atriox yet, and my thinking is that they don't want to show him because he's going to be the main deal, and if he is the main deal, then that's going to be a huge thing. What I'm worried about is that they keep this other guy who's supposedly trained. How do you say his name? The Archer or Escharam. And he's the main. So if that's the case, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. I want Atriox there day one, and I want to smash his face in. That's what I'm hoping for. And if I do have a concern, it's like, oh, you beat the Ashibian, whatever the hell you say his name,
right?
And
then
Escharam.
And then the enemy you want's in the next game.
Yeah, and then a year later.
Well, so Tim, let me ask you a question, Tim. Dizzy Delta 27 says, Mooch, name me a game trailer that actually tells you what the story is going to be. I get this all the time whenever I play, the opposite side of the coin. Like, there's a lot of games that come out and tell you what you're going to be buying or what you're going to be purchasing, or as far as what the story is. And I think Halo, people don't like to hear this. I think Halo, it does have a tougher ladder to climb. It's Halo. So when and again, I'm not judging whether you liked 5 or not. This goes to the audience. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to say that, like, I wanted to know a little bit more about what I was getting into because Halo has come such a long way from the original Xbox. So, I mean,
I have an example for you, Mooch. I have an example.
Go ahead.
Guardians of the Galaxy that you love playing.
Yes.
Before it launched and people started talking about it, did you know what it was about?
Well, I knew it was going to be a Guardian. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Did I know the exact story?
You didn't know what the story was going to be like. Well, Halo's is always been the same way.
I feel like I know less about Halo. I feel like I know less about Halo.
I'm just giving an example of.
It's a good example, but I don't know if it holds.
What it's really going to be about. We know how Halo runs.
Go ahead.
We know what you do in Halo.
Go ahead,
but technically, for those who say Halo is not a new game, the Halo Infinite is not a new game.
Not that it's not a new game. I'm just saying, like,
not you, just other people.
Yeah, when I watched what we saw this past week, I didn't necessarily. I walked away, and I knew as much about the game as I almost did last year when we saw it. I didn't see much more.
I don't understand why though, because they literally said what was going on in the breakdown. They said that there was a war between the Banished and the humans, and we lost. And you saw. Pilot find Master Chief in space. He said, we have new orders. What is it? We need to get the weapon. Like they went through. They went through and they basically told you what was going on.
I guess maybe it was because the way Xbox. You made a good point there. I don't know, but like when they were saying that and they were showing like CGI, then when they showed gameplay, it was just like a tedious like fight in the middle of the world, like as you were just moving forward, like. In the middle of the woods there, you're just having a fight, or you're on a vehicle and you're blowing stuff up. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to do this, and they showed a cutscene of that actual fight. And then, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like it was generic cutscene, and then it was story, and then generic show of the game again.
I think their emphasis
on the mechanics
when it came to the breakdown for the gameplay, they wanted to let people know that you can tackle, because, they said the Banished was building these strongholds on this Zeta Halo and basically taking control of this Halo. And when it comes to a group like the Banished, you don't want them having a weapon like Halo. You don't want them having that at their disposal.
Yes.
So, he's going down, he's taking down their strongholds and stuff like that. And I think when they were showing the gameplay, the emphasis was you can take this stuff down as you see fit. If you want to shoot a rocket from a distance and blow these things up, you can do that. If you want to go in on a vehicle and run everything over, you can go ahead and do that as well. Like, they're just trying to show you that you can like tackle these situations as you want to tackle them. I think that was the point. The game.
Let me let Brap get his thought in. Then I want to ask Tim another question. Go ahead, Brap.
Yeah. So I think I hate to disappoint Tim. I don't think we're going to see Atriox. I think for what happened in Halo Wars 2, but I don't think we're going to see Atriox. I think they'll save him till later. And it'll be like a cliffhanger for him.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Tim. I want to see if you, Mooch, I suggest you watch that opening cutscene for Halo Wars 2. You're gonna be blown away. To me, it's one of the best trailers for a Halo game I've seen. One of the best.
Ever.
But I think
ever.
Ever. I mean, it's badass. It's like that. The tone of that trailer is where I want to see Halo go.
So, Brap, that trailer got me so excited, but then I realized I was playing an RTS afterwards, and I'm like,
it's like, oh shit, yeah.
I love RTS, but it's true.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like, oh shit, like,
and that was after 5, right? And 5,
it was after 5, yeah.
So,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think Tim. I don't think we're gonna see that. But I think what Mooch is saying, Mooch, what you're saying here, and I'm a Halo fan. I've been a Halo fan for 20 years. Was part of I was an Xbox Live.
I heard you were an Xbox Live beta tester. Is that true?
I was.
Okay.
Yes,
and it was right behind
you. News, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, crap, right? I was gonna say I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to say that if it wasn't 100% accurate.
Exactly. I just want to repeat that again. But no, I was in a Halo Xbox Live clan and played Halo competitively, and but look, the point is this: like I think like for me, I think based on how they've shown us other Halo games, I feel like this one was a little underwhelming. Like usually, like Halo's a big event, and then we get this tweet like at like 5 o'clock in the evening, my time, I think it was, that they're going to show this game at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on a Monday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's so like really, and then 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'm like, okay, well, why? Like what? And when they did that, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little underwhelming.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. And
like,
there's certain people in the chat that are saying, you know, Mooch, you're going. I'm not. I'm just saying there's. And that's what I wanted to ask Tim.
Same energy, Mooch.
Tim, exactly. I'm trying here. But Tim, like I say, like BRAP just mentioned a few red flags, and I get it. So I ask a question that's like throwing a volleyball in the air, and that's fine. If people want to spike it down, that's what it's there for. But my question to you, Tim, is like, I just feel like I still feel the campaign is coming in hot, and I feel like it's. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it because whenever I go to put my finger on it, you know, literally the chat will step on the finger. So I got to be careful what you say, but like in all sense, it seems like it's, I don't know. I think if people didn't like Halo 5 story, I don't know if they're going to be prepared to enjoy this with an open world-esque aspect to it. I mean, do you see where I'm coming from, Tim? Or no, you're like, no, you've got to see a different point.
Fonz has kind of similar, trepidation about it. So yeah, he mentioned he's worried it's going to be just like a Far Cry clone,
right. Just tedious missions and no real. The story kind of gets. Yeah.
But I'm going in thinking that they went with a real desire to nail down the narrative. So I have to think that there's a lot of cutscenes and there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot all that type of stuff. And then there's definitely it's going to come to a accumulation at the end, which like I said, my fear is that Atriox, you just see like a trailer of them like killing a UNCS trooper or something, and then it just leaves off, and that very well could be the case. But I just I'm going to be going in. They can't do worse than they did with 5. 5 was atrocious, and 5
we hope they can't. We hope
had an amazing marketing push up that won an award.
It did.
But it didn't tie into the game at all.
I love the marketing. I love that marketing.
So
and that opening scene in Halo 5 was top notch. I would like to say too, by the way.
Yeah, so exactly. So I think that they listen. If they didn't take the feedback from that and they didn't get that right, well, then it's going to be a problem. Listen, this is where I honestly think it's going to end up. I think that it's going to be like reviewed. I don't think it's going to be a 90 Metacritic or above. I do think that it'll probably land. Metacritic.
No, he does. That's his thing. That's Xbox thing. Go ahead, Tim.
But I do think that it's gonna score well, probably in the 86 area, maybe the 87. The multiplayer is a 9 or above in my opinion, but you don't really. It's reviewed as a package deal, and I remember speaking to somebody who's involved with the game, and they basically said it is a little tougher when you have that big of a deal because it's packaged. But if you split them up, I think definitely the multiplayer is 90 or above. But there's gonna probably Halo, for whatever reason, it gets people's passions up, and everyone loves to talk about it, and they love to put it under a microscope, and just people, like I said, it was talked about for 3 days. I mean, the days of Halo being dead or Halo is dead are over. I mean, the hype they have right now is huge. I mean, even Sony, they try to put that Horizon thing out the day of Halo, and that was just like there, and it was gone. It was drowned out. People, like I said, are infatuated with Halo. So yeah, you're going to get people who would dissect the game. Some probably not going to like it. Probably that'll show in the scores, overall. But I do think that I think it's going to be good in my opinion, and I'm not really nervous about it. To be honest, I was more nervous about them showing the game and not really showing improvement. But I think that also tailors to what you guys are talking about, how some of the scenes, you got to realize they were doing some of the scenes over so you could draw comparisons. They showed Craig. So it was kind of like They went into that whole demo shaking because they knew how bad of a showing it was, and heads rolled. Chris Lee got basically demoted.
Yeah,
and they brought 2 guys in, and for all intents and purposes, I think that they right now are in prime position to do, for the game to do well.
So, I want to shout out to the great Eric Jackson has joined us. Eric, welcome to the show, buddy. I want to say welcome to Eric. He just joined us. So, welcome. BRAP, I want to let you respond. Tim, while BRAP responds, I just think about this question for a minute because I do want to ask you about the multiplayer. I want to ask you about the modes that came out and the modes that are coming out. But go ahead, BRAP, and then I'll come back to Tim, and I want to get E's opinion too.
I just want to chime in after BRAP real quick, man.
Yes.
So I think at least to me, I think they're clearly more confident with the multiplayer. Like I think they've shown more of the multiplayer. They talked about that more.
It free.
Yeah, so I think the multiplayer and for what I played for the flight test, I think this is the best multiplayer since Halo 3, and 343's best multiplayer they've ever done for Halo. But I think the challenge, and I was thinking about this, this is like the 8th Halo game, right? The 6th Halo like game with Master Chief and the 8th in the series, and I think what happens when you start going back to the well so many times, like, and especially if you look at where this franchise has come from, it's for years it was like, the creme of the creme, right? How do you keep topping what previous games have done from a narrative perspective over and over and over again? And I think that's going to be the challenge that they're going to have is how do they make a great Halo campaign, great story, great narrative? How are they going to top what they've done previously? Because look, right or wrong, people are going to benchmark this game versus other Halo games. I do it because I have a high expectation of Halo based on previous experiences that I've had with the franchise. So I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. But like you, Mooch, I'm a little concerned about Halo.
They're off to a good start when it comes to
enemies. Your mic isn't.
I
you have to fix your mic. I'm sorry about that, Xbox.
I thought that was background.
No, that's Eric. Eric, I think you might have to just reset your mic.
Or turn his mic up. Or you got to turn his mic up.
It's not that.
Well, just real quick, while he's doing that, because I heard.
How's that?
That's better.
That's much better.
Yo,
all right.
Just real quick, Mooch, you were talking about Halo 5 and saying that, some people, if you don't like Halo 5, I would say think about Halo 1 when it comes to Infinite. Of course, brought up to today's standards, better kind of like storytelling throughout, but kind of like the exploration, the awe, wonderment, and stuff like that. I think that's what they're trying to kind of like bring back to the table, which is why this is semi-open world. It's not full open world. There are sections, and within those sections, you can explore like that area. And then once you do what you have to do there, and the story progresses, you kind of move on to another section of the broken Halo. That's what's going on here. It's a semi-open world. But
it's not. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you. I was gonna say, as long as they don't Far Cry it or something like that, I think semi-open world will be fine. That would be okay. Give you a little thing to explore or something like that. But I've talked to like BRAP about this. I said what they honestly need to do if you want to start, getting Halo to like separate itself or stand apart from what it's done in the past, you got to give odds. Mm-hmm. You got to get to a point where you give Chief something to attain and achieve. Every time Chief comes in, he kicks everybody's ass. It's the end of the story. We keep moving, right? Mm-hmm. You got to put him up against something that feels insurmountable. If you want people to
that's a great
exactly. With Halo 2 and Halo.
Well, that's what we think, but we don't know for sure yet. We don't know exactly what's going to happen.
But that's what made those stories with Halo 1, 2, and 3. Halo 1 going into Halo 2, Halo 2 story, and then going into Halo 3. Like you thought, like you overcame like a battle, but at the end of the game, they showed you that you were still losing the war. You know what I'm saying? Until the end of Halo 3 and kind of like the sacrifice that supposedly had to be made. But you're exactly right. That's what made those stories great. Like even though he overcame these odds in like going Halo 1 and then Halo 2, there was always something bigger like right around the corner. He looked up and he's like, "Oh shit." You know what I'm saying? And here we go again. Now it's like 10 times harder. Now it's 20 times harder. Now
But I still don't think I still don't think as a player you felt the weight of it. You knew ultimately Chief was going to like prevail because that's what he does. Like he goes in and but he's never really gotten mopped. He needs to meet like an antagonist who like mops him. And that could be Atriox. That looks like that might be where they're like going.
Well, it might be that elite
you know,
as well. They have the Spartan killer kind of like squadron and elite kind of like
but
assassin.
But I'm not convinced though, Xbot, that Master Chief isn't going to wipe the floor with those guys either. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I see them as being
even in the trailer. He didn't seem like he felt like it was.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, yeah, that's whatever. Let's get it.
All right. Well, then
exactly.
Get the harbinger of truth and put Master Chief through 3 walls, like 3 walls, just tossed him like nothing. Like I think this story, I think it's setting up to be. I am intrigued. I am definitely interested. When it comes to the art style, I feel like it's still, they added detail to like the enemy's armor and stuff like that, but I can see underneath that layer. You know what I'm saying? It's still, they still tried to be more Halo 1-ish, which I felt was a
this does look like Halo CE, by the way.
It does.
I feel like it was a bad idea.
So Tim, let me say this much. So I want to read a super chat. Xbot, I'm going to give you praise here because there's something that Xbot's been saying week in and week out on the show, Tim, that he's saying that he feels, and Tim, by the way, Xbot, if I'm speaking improperly, let me know. But I'm just saying, he's mentioned this a few times where he feels that 343 is catering more to the hardcore Halo, the original hardcore Halo fans, and that's what this is looking like, and that's fine, okay? Because I mean, I was there, we were, everyone on this panel was there, but I like the natural progression. And shout out to Jeff Grubb, who just said the dream would be to have this open world Halo game, and I'm with Jeff on that. And even though they're getting to that point with this, I feel like, and I believe it was said here by JudaZuk, he said, I feel they still need to fix the vegetation. The world feels dead because grass and trees barely move. Voice acting is still pretty bad. Also, specifically the plot. He says, I hope they fix it. Now, he's got a few more issues than I do with it, but I do have to say, even the multiplayer and what we saw in the campaign, here we are with a new engine. Here we are with infinite amounts of money and an unbelievably large team, and a talented team at that. And that's my beef. It's so a playback and a tribute to the original, Tim, that the trees aren't moving and the grass isn't moving.
Well, they do move.
They do, but you have to like stand still and stare at it.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick that everyone forgets?
Go ahead.
From the original Halo 1?
Yes.
Halo, whatever. Halo is actually a weapon, and everyone fights for the ring to control the weapon. And I have a funny feeling.
Does the weapon control the tree movement?
But
Does the weapon control the tree?
But I'm talking about the lore of Halo now, real quick.
Yeah.
Whoever controls these rings will control everything. It can destroy the whole universe. And I got a funny feeling that at the end of this story, one of those rings or that ring they're fighting for might be activated. Because it's never been used. And that one of the rings, one of the rings was broken, so it wasn't usable. People forget Halo is a weapon. There's supposed to be 3 or 4 of them in the universe.
There's many of them.
There's many of them, but they're weapons,
throughout space, and each one has their own section of the universe that once they're activated, it takes out all organic life because it's supposed to be there to starve the flood.
And that's probably why the other people from the other dimension have came over, because they want to extinguish life in this universe because it might be affecting their universe.
Well, I mean, I love the thought process.
Is he writing for this game?
I don't know. If he's not, he definitely should be.
I'm just trying to shine some light on something that we forget. The Halo is a weapon.
It is a weapon, you're right.
And look how big the weapon is if it can have entire cities and different sections. Oh my!
But
maybe that.
He changed it to MetaBrap.
And maybe that's a good point. Is that they don't want to give away the story too, which is why they in the trailer was kind of vanilla in that aspect. They don't want to give away any kind of hints or any kind of, certain things that are going to tend to...
That would be a huge spoiler right there. That would be a huge spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going to be $60 for just the campaign. This is the first time that's really happening when it comes to Halo. So they better go all in.
Well, thank you, Xbot, for that. That was something we discussed last night. I want to ask Tim. Tim, you said you've spoke to people. You definitely know people who have played the game in depth. What's the? And again, I'm not holding you to the minute. Please don't feel that way. What is the rough gameplay time for the campaign? Again, everybody plays it differently. If you want 100%, it's different. But what's the average? So somebody that would not the speed runner and not the 100% completionist.
I haven't asked that particular question, how long it's going to be, and probably wouldn't have gotten that answer either way because it's very tight. It's been tight since when
Staten got there.
No, yeah, when that all happened, you know, there were some people that I had talked to that known stuff, but they basically said everything shut down. That's why when there were rumors of people saying that Halo didn't look good and it was awful and this and that, I knew that was kind of like not real because I knew that there was a premium put down on that, on people talking about the game, and you know, they were pretty strict about it, but I'm thinking it's going to be about 12 hours, probably. I don't think it's going to be a 30-hour game.
No.
I do think it's probably going to be overall 12 hours. And you have
Tim,
to realize,
I heard 6 to 10 hours, by the way. I heard 6 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. There's no way to really know.
That's an average. That's typical Halo campaign. 6 to 10.
Yeah, but they're also they're gonna definitely. They're going to tie you into the future because, as we talked about, you know, the game's still not launching with a lot of things like co-op, ray tracing, Forge, and those things they're gonna get pointed out in the reviews, and they're gonna take a couple hits on that. But overall, we talk about the graphics and stuff. I can only imagine what the graphics are going to look like in a year from now. It's going to keep getting better and better. They are putting a ton of you know, budget and everything into this. There have been, at one time when they were trying to get the game done, there was like 1,500 developers on the game. I mean, you were talking about like that's including contractors and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of contractors.
So you know, they are. Once I think that they get the ray tracing down, and listen, some of the stuff that you guys complain about, I've read in forums. I do think that they could snazzy that up and fix that up, and you know, listen to people. They know, like I guarantee you, the sparks are not going to look the same when the Wasp drops.
Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah,
right, I was like,
they'll fix that. But, you know,
can they drop the Wasp in a better way too? Though the way they dropped that was kind of like
they need to drop it exactly like that every time.
No,
like that. No, here it is.
That thing would take damage.
Yeah, but I do think that you know, this stuff is that's the thing about Halo is that it's so talked about and so put out there, and I do think that 343 is definitely. They have their ears to the ground on this, and they're going to take a lot of feedback. And I think that they redeemed themselves in a lot of ways with this demo. And now let's see what they can put out there in December 8th.
Do you think, Tim, that this is something that, like, I mean, this is things over the course of many weeks on the show. People ask in the chat, like, is this now that we've seen this now with Sea of Thieves, right? With Sea of Thieves is what you'd say is a successful completed game now, but you know when it came out, it wasn't necessarily as full.
It's not going to be like that.
No. But when you say, you know, Mooch, you say, Mooch, give it another year. This starts to get a feeling of a gut feeling inside where it's like, okay, we're going to give them time, and they're going to release. I think even Staten said this, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting, but he's one of them. It was him or Booty said, you know, at this point, we're going to release the game. You know, we're going to release the game. We could have waited, right? We're going to release the game, and it's in playable shape right now. And like you just said, Tim, in another year it'll get better, and a year after that it'll get better, and they're going to continue to add to this game. But
they took 10 years, right? 10
right. So, but is this the kind of games is this the kind of like leadership like direction that they're getting the studios from heads up like Matt and Phil and those guys? Is that what they're saying, or is it?
No, I mean,
this is just two instances that happen to land in the same crapshoot.
Like, I think that like the disappointment, there was disappointment when they heard there was going to be no co-op, and that was because I believe the Xbox One version or that they have. You're dealing with now an open world, so if obviously you're playing Halo and it's linear, and you have a guy close to you, now you can have one guy at the end of the map, one guy at the other end. You have to tie them in, tether them in. So I believe that was some of the problems with it, and I know that was a big disappointment. Listen, I mean, I think the leadership from Phil. I think Phil. I know. Listen, Chris got demoted, and I know that they took that whole thing with Halo, and they really set people straight, and I think that they got their point. They got their point listened to. At the end of the day, it's a business, and you're not going to have stuff like that went on, especially with your prize franchise that went on last year with the showcase. That was one of the things that they look back and they just shake their heads, and it was a failure on a lot of levels, even though I wasn't as vocal as other people, because I was impressed with the gameplay and some of the aspects like that, but it definitely needed to get better, and I think the community went nuts and everyone listened, and I do feel like they've come a long way, and now it's just go time. They have a month left of polish, and I'm sure there'll be little things changed here and there, but I'm thinking it's going to be it's going to be a huge game in December, and I think that it's going to go on for a long time. 2022, you're still going to be playing it.
Tim, I feel like when it comes down to it, we got Forza Horizon 5, which is quite possibly the best looking racing game, especially open world, that I have ever seen. The month before, and then going right into Halo Infinite with the story and the multiplayer and everything that they put behind that. I am super excited for these next 2 months when it comes.
Well, this is the go time for Xbox. Yes, this is the time that they've been waiting for. Listen, we've talked ad nauseum about how they failed and they did this and that, and and there was guys like me that said you got to give them time, and now that time is coming up, and
Tim, let me ask you though, and I agree with you. No, because you said this even when I've heard you on other shows say it, and I agree with you. You said, listen, they took their lumps, and now it's time to show. But if Halo 5, and I listen, you know this, I don't really care if a game gets a 75 meta. You still might call it Game of the Year. I might still call it Game of the Year. So that doesn't really matter.
If Halo gets that horrible,
no. But I'm saying, I'm not even going there. But I'm saying, like, if Halo campaign does fall, like, I mean, 6 hours seems a little short. I was going to kind of venture between the 10-12 hour mark for a length of campaign. Normal playthrough. If that plus the story and the world feels full, the environment feels good, the stories are continuous, and it's not just like this lost, like I'm just kind of doing obvious little puzzles and moving on. If it doesn't do well, I mean, then what happens here? I mean, that's the thing. We're saying that they're getting glorious applause, right? I've been saying this, and you know this, Tim. Me and you were there in the early days in 2013. I would say that you're seeing a complete opposite right now, which is great, by the way. You're seeing the media and everybody is completely in love with Xbox. I mean, you're seeing that from influencers, the majority of folks out in the media.
They're getting there.
Well, it's close. I mean, it's a jump from 2013. Yeah.
You say media bias?
No, listen. There's definitely a different
we would have loved
slant
for those
right
days
now.
back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Remember Destin Legary holding the 1080p 720 thing?
Yeah, now it's the other way around. He's got, they
love him.
The scales shifted.
They love Destin now.
Destin handing out smoke left and right. They love him now.
You know what, Mooch?
Yes.
You're right. And I think though sometimes that's all you need.
I totally agree with that statement, Tim. Yes.
And that's what I do think that Halo has going for it is that it kind of it media darlinged himself, or there's so many people that like really were. Listen, there were things that you could complain about, sure, but I think that the overall reception was super positive.
Yeah.
And they redeemed themselves. But you're right. That there is now, the times have changed 100%. There are more people, like there were times where people wouldn't, and I think there was frustration. We were on BGST and we were all talking about
I remember that.
You know, like there was like Xbox was just a punching bag, and you know everything that was perfect with Sony, and you know it was there. But now it's I do feel like the media and everything, in a way, sometimes they like to pick a side, and since there are media influencers and people that are pushing Xbox.
Yeah, no,
Not like last gen, nobody did.
Nobody, nobody,
you.
No, right, exactly, nobody. I got a couple super chats here, and then I want to get Crap and E's opinions on a few things. And Sir X-Man's. I'm falling way behind here, and I apologize to everybody. Let me just see where I left off. Javon Go, if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. He says, "Don't believe your eyes, Mooch. Just believe." That was when I was asking for everyone's interpretation of the campaign. So shout out to Javon. I appreciate that. X Abbott is back. He says, Halo 1 hid the flood. Halo 2 hid that you would play as the Arbiter, etc. Not saying 343 will nail this, but part of each Halo is the mystery. So shout out to X Abbott. And you know what, X Abbott, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the fun, if you will. I mean, not to be so basic, hashtag fun, but that is the fun of playing a game and having that surprise kind of pop up with you as the story progresses. Just a guy, he's not a fan here.
No.
He says, Halo should fail because it's not exclusive to Xbox. I want Xbox to fail because it has no exclusives. Rest in peace, Trashbox Series L. Irrelevant console, confirmed. Just a guy. He said, he comes back, he says, Halo Infinite hype is nothing compared to Halo 3. He says, how you lose an entire generation in less than a year. Well, you know, that's the thing. So just a guy, you know, maybe not seemingly as much of a fan as the Xbox as others, but you know, that's the one thing that I was kind of asking Tim. I said, now there's a lot running on Halo. I mean, let's be honest. If Microsoft was at the stakes table at the casino, you know, they've got all their chips on Halo right now, and this is a huge game. I think that's why you're seeing them get a lot of Series X's out to people. I think that's why you're seeing. Remember, and listen, guys, this is not like tinfoil hat stuff. You know, Aaron Greenberg said it end of last generation. That's what they're doing. They're doing grassroots. So instead of seeing billboards and commercials, you know what you're seeing? You're seeing Twitch streamers and major influencers on YouTube. It's what they're doing. That's their form of advertisement. And that's... Go ahead.
My bad, Mooch. But you said they have all their chips on Halo.
I think Halo's a big... I mean, if Halo doesn't do well, Xbox, I just think it's an issue.
I'm not saying it's not big, but all their chips, I gotta disagree with.
That llama.
You know, again,
90% of their chips.
You have Forza Horizon 5 coming out right before that, and I know it's a racing game and stuff, but it's a racing game that caters to a wider demographic than the hardcore kind of like racing gamer out there. You know, they invested in ZeniMax. You got Starfield next year. You got Stalker 2 at least timed exclusive beginning of next year. I know what you're saying in terms of the name of Halo and what it means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The meaning of Halo and what it stands for Xbox. Yeah,
it's huge for Xbox.
Like
yeah, it's big, Tim.
They're thinking long term. They're thinking with their 23 studios as well. It is a big part of it, but I won't say it's all their chips. Like it's make it or break it right now when it comes to Halo.
Well, the reason I say that as well, Xbot, I just want to reinforce what we're talking about. I got a Series X day one. And Halo seemingly, you know, technically, if you want to go by the calendar, you know, the big first party would be Forza Horizon 5 next week. But I'm saying besides Forza Horizon 5, Halo's that big game. And then the next big game that we all are anticipating is Starfield end of next year. So Halo is legitimately going to carry this console till Starfield's ready. So that's why I'm saying the chips are stacked in front of Halo. That's what I mean by that.
Well, Mooch, that was definitely the plan. I mean, when you think when the Series X rolled out, I mean, Chief was plastered all over like the packaging on that, right?
Yeah,
and he was actually on chips.
Right. Exactly. Yes, he was on
and
chips.
Crackers and everything else. So
Pringles,
the chips are definitely there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think with the campaign, I think 343 wanted to come back and kind of give a story like they did with Halo 4. I think Halo 4 had one of the best stories in the Halo.
I enjoyed it too, Xbox.
And I think what they're doing with the campaign is they're gonna try to give the gamers that quality story experience. But when it comes to Master Chief being plastered all over the place, let's be real. They're free to play multiplayer. Game as a service where you know you're gonna have seasons and stuff like that. They are because that's the big replay value with most games is the multiplayer, and I think that's what they're betting on will kind of like lock them down for the foreseeable future with them adding content and stuff like that, because that's, I mean, that they're planning on the multiplayer to be absolutely huge.
Well, and thank you for that segue. I was just going to go into the multiplayer, and I want to ask, and I do want to get shout out to the great BitCloud Gaming who had RGT. He had Sean on his show just a few hours back. Shout out to Bit. Thanks for being here today. I know that back-to-back podcasts are not easy. We've all done them, and it's a marathon race. You know what I mean? So Bit, welcome to the show, buddy. Outstanding to have you here. I want to read this. I want to read this super chat, and then we're going to get into the fact of the multiplayer. And I'll start with you, Bit. The super chat says here, Optimus, shout out to Optimus back. He says, Halo is going to be relevant for a week when it comes out and then forgotten by the general gaming public. Now, of course, you know, I think that's I think that's a bit of a stretch, but Bit, the one thing that I've been saying week in and week out, and Tim, this is what I was alluding to when I asked you the campaign stuff. I said then I have some multiplayer questions, but I'm going to start with Bit and take Tim off the hot seat for a minute. Bit, with you on the seat real quick, I want to say, the one thing about the multiplayer was this. They sped it up. I think everybody will agree with me that played. I played in the tech test. I think everybody on the panel did. It was buttery smooth, a lot of speed, felt a lot faster than other Halo multiplayer games. They made some advancements as far as the mechanics that I truly love. I love them. The one thing that I didn't see, and I'm not hearing yet, are modes. And you guys know I've been harping on this for months. Not just on Halo. This goes for Battlefield. This goes for Call of Duty. It goes for shooters. This is not picking on Halo. But Halo seems to be the one that's stuck traditionally in their modes that they have right now, Bit. And the one thing where I'll agree with Optimus on this one is that I'm not going to say a week. That's kind of over the top. But I mean, he's taking it to he's going to the nth degree on that one. Right? He's going to he's going crazy on that one.
It's free to play. That alone is going to keep it relevant.
Exactly, Bit. But I'm saying to you now. So when you have modes like capture the flag, and you know, and I don't think they call it domination, but their version of just King of the Hill. It's like those are game modes, right? From like 2001. You know what I mean? So like I'm just trying to say to you, like myself personally, and I use this as an example, and I know a lot of people are going to throw tomatoes. That's fine.
Battle Royale.
But like use those two letters.
Well, not just Battle Royale, because you say through Battle Royale, you get 1,000 tomatoes thrown at you. But like you have like Call of Duty Vanguard right now, right?
This game needs Battle Royale.
Well, that's another topic. But Call of Duty Vanguard is trying something in their multiplayer outside of Battle Royale called Champion Hill, and what I happen to like it. Others don't. That's fine. But again, they're trying new modes. Something fresh, right, Bit? So the one thing where I tend to agree with Optimus, just where I wonder if you're going to, like Tim, you know, you said it yourself, there's going to be a massive spike in December, January. Halo, period. It's all you're going to see. Hashtag Halo. I'm wondering about the February, March, April, when you're like, hey, Bit, you want to play Capture the Flag? We're all getting on. You're like, Mooch, I've been playing Capture the goddamn Flag with you for 3 months, dude. All right, I'm good.
You really hated Capture the Flag.
I really hate Capture the Flag. Yeah. But can you guys tell? I was very adamant about that. Yeah.
I felt the hate in his voice when he said, I've been playing it from Moose.
Right? Yeah. So Bit, part of that anger was just because I haven't eaten. But my point being is this. Yeah, you know what I mean? But the thing about it, though, Bit, is that's what I'm saying. Do you think that the multiplayer does have the legs to carry into, let's go as far as April of 2022? Will that hype factor that we're going to see in December and January be there in April? Will we see those large numbers?
So it's free to play for one. That automatically got eyes on it for a lot of people. It's going to be relevant for that. Another thing that plays a factor in this too, and this is where Call of Duty and Battlefield kind of take a little bit of an L. The community is burnt out with those games right now.
Okay.
Especially Call of Duty. They are really burnt out. I really think they're in a good state with the online part, especially with how well it was received, that they can definitely deliver. Now, as far as additional modes, that's kind of the issue, right? Even Xbox is going to have to agree with this. And they have to really have a plan like in place to where they can have content like that dropping forward. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I love King of the Hill. I'm sorry, I love King of the Hill.
Yeah, you love it, but not
King
everybody.
King of the Hill is awesome.
Yeah, not everybody likes it.
Oddball is awesome.
Yeah, true. But not everybody.
I think no, but Bit, you're making a Bit. Go ahead, finish your point because I think you're making one. Go ahead. I want to hear it. I do. I like I like where you're going with it.
It needs more. I definitely agree. More modes should definitely be available. I mean, let's face it. They need to have like monthly updates for this, where something additional is added, whether it be like the long-awaited features for the single player, for God's sakes, like there's no online co-op. But I'm saying they really do need to have a more robust online offering, a playlist to keep things, fresh. The reason why I say they need this, again, this is a game that you want to be a 10-year plan, right? This is what they said they wanted to be. It wanted to last for 10 years. Okay, you're not going to have a game last for 10 years strictly with King of the Hill. You need
that's where I was going.
They did state they are working on game modes as well, and
Battle Royale.
When it comes down to it, something kind of like reminiscent of Warzone,
Battle Royale.
like a bigger scope, not Battle Royale. BRAP, you calm.
Oh Lord!
One thing they need to have.
I'm telling you, they need it.
Guys,
You know damn well they're gonna play no Battle Royale.
Hey guys, this is important. What they need to have is like some other multiplayer shooters have, like
Battle Royale.
Overwatch and things like that. Nah, events for holidays. Something simple like that. Like you go with your Battle Royale. But at least because Halo's never had holiday events like that.
Right.
At least spice
like
it
Destiny?
up every now and then. Like Destiny does too.
Sir X-Man, when it comes down to it, I think they're going to do holiday events because every other
game does.
Game
But
does
they've
that.
never done it.
But I do agree with this point, because when it came down to early online play with Halo, Oddball was unique. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, King of the Hill was
The way
unique.
that they did King of the Hill was unique, and it was new at that point. And I think 343 does recognize that, because they did say they are working on new game mode types. To be ready when multiplayer
I
comes
agree.
out.
I heard that. That's why I think they're in a good opportunity to really mix it up instead of just offering the same old. Really, like, make something out the box. You know what I mean, something creative for the game.
Don't copy everybody else, right? Big Cloud, do something unique to your game.
Yeah, make your game stand out above it. Like, okay, like Enrique saying Battle Royale. Okay, you can have a Battle Royale team-based something. I don't know.
I mean,
you got to come up with something that Fortnite wants to steal.
Exactly. You got to do that.
Yeah.
You really do. You got to be creative with this game.
Remember, PUBG was first.
Yeah, can I say something about Battle Royale real quick? I know I'm saying Battle Royale a lot, but no, but seriously, like, and Xbot, I heard you say Dr. Disrespect, and actually, Dr. Disrespect's been one of those streamers who's like, this game needs Battle Royale.
Dude, because he just wants to play it for his sub base.
See,
What?
Xbot, I don't agree. Go ahead.
Not just that though. Battle, it does open up a lot of shit. I will.
But listen, Battle Royale, the hook of Battle Royale, it gives you a different it's a very dynamic experience. Like Mooch, you and I have played a lot of
I love it,
Battle Royale together. Like,
I play it almost every day.
Because each encounter, each situation is so dynamic, so different.
I'm addicted to
from
Battle
the last
Royale,
encounter.
so I'm the wrong person.
And that's what I'm saying. Imagine, like, and actually, when I heard Dr. Disrespect say this, like, he's, for those who don't know, I hope most people know this, but he actually designed many of the levels in what I think Advanced Warfare for Call of Duty. So, but he said, like, as Master Chief is like diving, there's a scene where Master Chief is diving. He's like, imagine Master Chief, you're a Spartan, you're dropping from the air. You have the option to either drop, hit the ground, or drop it to a ship. And when you drop into that ship, you're going to get your loadout quicker. But now you're committed to where that ship lands, right? You have no control over where you land. I'm thinking, holy shit, that actually is cool. Like to either have the decision to either drop boots on the ground and then fight for a loadout, or get into a ship, get a loadout, and then be at the mercy of that ship where it lands. And that base,
I think a Halo style and a Battle Royale
that would be awesome.
Something similar to that would be absolutely huge for Halo. I would play it
think so
non-stop.
You know what the funny thing
Go ahead, crap.
is people were like crapping on Dr. Disrespect, like he was crapping on Halo. He wasn't. He just strictly said, if you want viewership to remain after a few weeks, you need BR, because that's what people watch. And he's well, no, it's not. I mean, it's every viewership, right? I mean, BR is what people stick to. I mean, yes, Halo, when they were streaming it, had high numbers, and then Battlefield even beat those numbers. But then, and everything does that. Even Sea of Thieves, will get high numbers if they drop new content, but then it'll go back down, and Fortnite and all the other BR games end up beating it. So that's all he's saying.
Yeah.
There is a VR mode on PC. There is a VR mode on PC.
Just said that they're working on new game modes. I think it's a little premature to jump the gun and be like, "Oh, this game needs VR," when we don't even know.
So wait,
the other game modes yet.
Well, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that this game would benefit from Battle Royale. Like, I don't think it's a negative.
What's going on, and of course, you got Fortnite. Before that, it was
and
PUBG
Apex
and stuff like that. I feel like the term battle royale is kind of like watering down the community. Of course, you get a lot of Twitch streamers like
I don't agree with that.
playing it and stuff like that. But the more and more that you get a multiplayer game coming out with its own battle royale, unless there's like a really unique twist to it, which I do have to say, I do like the fact that Forza Horizon put in the Eliminator. I feel like that is a twist because it's racing in terms of battle royale. I absolutely love that mode. But when it comes down, I don't feel like in this instance, Halo has to follow the trend of
Make something new.
That's fine. That's what I was just gonna say. Have your own mode then.
Halo needs more than just that, though. I mean, even the single player option.
But they did have an awesome mode in
Hold on, wait.
and
Bet.
5, right?
Wait, Bet, what did you just say?
Nah, I'm saying Halo needs a lot more, though. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Even with the single player reveal, it was looking very spooky, a little shaky in certain areas.
Remember Breakout and Forza 5?
Yeah.
That mode is phenomenal. So they need to at least keep that mode in and bring some new stuff. Breakout. Where it's 4 players against other 4 players, and you spring out in the middle of the map.
So you're saying like a 2021 revision of that, or a new?
Yeah, that would be good too. That would be good too. But make other things. Explore what your options are in your mechanics, where you can make something that's going to work and surprise everyone that is brand new and it's worthy of streaming and people playing it more and more. That's all I want.
Exactly. And Bit, what you're saying about Warzone, I would love for them to bring that into Halo Infinite, but instead of always having the same enemies spawning in the same locations, I got to the point where in Warzone, I knew where the bosses were coming on. Like,
it needs to be revamped. It has to be the next tier.
Have it spread out, have different enemies going in. But I love it because you can either go and you say, you know what, I'm taking out the Spartans on the other team, or you mix it up between that and the bosses. So it was something, fresh. And there were points in time where you had each team firing on the same boss, and what they were doing is they're helping bring the boss's life bar level down to the point where you can win that. And as soon as it got low enough, you just saw each team turn on each other, and it became all-out war in the middle of the map. There was so many unique experiences when it came to Warzone that I feel like I hope that is going to be in Halo Infinite as well, man.
And the one thing, though. Go ahead. Oh, you get nine lives, bro. A good point though. COD is in like a bad slump because they focus more on Warzone than anything else. I would kind of hope for them to find a good balance, Xbox, where they have, the proper list.
How many people agree that, like in Halo 2, you did not have to be a Spartan? I want to be another character other than a Spartan in a multiplayer. Bring that back to the people where they they're
gonna make you a grunt, sir.
So no, and if I want to come back as a grunt with weaponry and stuff like that, let me come back as a grunt. Let me come back as an arbiter. You know what I'm saying? Let me come back as some of the new characters.
Well, wasn't
like
the big problem of Halo 5's big problem was people didn't want to play as other people. They wanted to play as Chief.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like playing as an arbiter in Halo 2. That was fun.
They want the elite character back from kind of like the Halo 2, Halo 3 era, where you had a choice of either being a Spartan or an elite. In the Halo community, there's a huge part of that wants that back in the game. They want to be elites and such. I don't care. Like, I always pick Spartan anyway, but that's just my personal preference.
Xbot, I got a couple of super chats here, and I do want to get to another topic here. I shouldn't want to say shout out to Babor Con3. He says Europeans question Americans' ability to do basic reasoning. Shout out to Babor would agree. He says, the love for one. He goes, the love of Xbox. He goes, madness. He goes, or are you guys just lying to feel better? And Babor, before and I want to ask the chat, or pardon me, the panel this, and I want to take like. Tim did a great job of explaining his feelings and what he felt, what he saw on the campaign reveal. And then you've heard my questions kind of being in the middle. And then you heard Bit come in and say there was a bit of it that was kind of spooky for him. And, that's the thing when I guess, there's always everyone's opinion and everyone has their own. But so I guess I'll go back. And Tim, I'll ask you real quick. I'll put you on the hot seat. One of the things that I was referring to, and you answered it to your feelings, but I guess I'll ask you now to answer for Babor or even what Bit was saying. When you look at, and me and you've been talking about this for a long time, like back in the 2015 era, okay, all the way from 2015 till this December, that's a very long time. And yes, we know that the shit hit the fan, and we know that Joseph was brought in and people shuffled around in the past 18 months. But still, it's a long period of time to go from 15 to 2020, end of 2021 for that matter, right?
Sure.
So when you look at the single player, and this is what I think Babor was referring to, is he's saying, he thinks, he's hearing us and saying, you're saying, well, I'm excited for it, this and that. Not to say that you're not excited for the game, but when we look at games that come out for a new console, we're always looking for a bit of a wow factor. And I've heard from a number of people that are saying, I can't wait to play Halo, and I'll be there day one because I'm a Halo fan. But I wasn't wowed by it. I think that's when he's hearing us say, well, we're going on and on about other subjects for it, which rightfully so, by the way. I'm not discrediting anyone's opinion on the panel. But do you feel like you were, like some of what you saw in this campaign overview was a bit of a lackluster as far as maybe the aesthetics or just...
I mean, listen. I think I don't see where your question is going. I think some of it you can nitpick, sure.
Right.
But I just do feel that for the gameplay that what you've seen, like jumping on a banshee or grapple hooking that and then catching that and then dropping him out and some of that stuff. There's going to be a ton of scenarios with this gameplay that are going to be, I feel, that are going to be extremely good and it's going to be extremely satisfying. So I always said it. The graphics, I would give it an 8.5.
Okay.
And you could that could come with some of the nitpicks, the sparks or the trees that are not moving, or there's not enough lush grass on the ground. Some of these things can be fixed too.
Right.
But the thing that I give a 10 is the gameplay. It's like the gameplay, the mechanics, the weights. Maybe I 9.5. I see some people complaining about the animations going a little bit slower than 60 frames per second. I know Anthony Battaglia of Digital Foundry brought that up. Says it's annoying. For me, it's hard for me to discern that stuff, to be honest. But from what I saw, and even with the multiplayer, I do feel like the gameplay is going to be the wow factor, and there's just going to be a lot of scenarios where you're going to be doing things that you're like wow, and you're posting them on social media, and I think that's the thing. I think that it's going to get a lot of push from that. There's just going to be a lot of those epic moments, I feel. But who knows? I guess we're gonna see when it's in our hands and we're playing it on. I'm playing it on my LG, my CX.
Yes.
I'm playing in Dolby Vision.
Same
and
here.
I'm playing it.
Hey Tim,
the best it could be. Yes.
What do you think it's going to score, Metacritic wise?
I talked about that earlier, but I know they weren't here. I think it's going to come in at 86, 87.
You don't think it's 90? A lot. Actually, I do think in 90s. Like me, I said it too. It has to be like a love letter to really hit the 90s.
Yeah, it's very hard to hit the 90s.
Yeah,
I don't think that they expect to hit the 90s.
What do you think, Bit?
Nah, definitely not 90. I said like 84, 85.
Yeah, I thought Tim, what you said earlier, because Tim, I don't know if you put an actual stamp, the number on it, but I thought you were accurate. I'm thinking it's going to literally match Halo 5's meta. I think it'll get exactly the same.
I think
everything depends on the story, man.
Yeah,
everything depends on the story.
That's true.
And I don't mean that as a. By the way, that's not a negative number. I would like to reinforce.
Yeah, it was an 84.
No.
84, 85. Yeah.
84,
well, it's
85,
gonna be a single player for a while until we get the co-op. So if the single player is good, and everybody says, I love single player games. I love single player games. I love co-op too.
Yeah,
well, do you think, Tim, you think the meta will
online part?
Well, I'm throwing this out the bit.
You're taking
Tim,
a couple of points. You're taking a couple of points.
Yeah,
off.
You think they're going to do that?
Well,
Will they remove points
Yes.
because of it not being available?
Yes.
It's traditionally been co-op.
Yes.
So,
and I think that's kind of unfair because
I agree with
you
that.
know,
Actually,
when you look at a game like The Last of Us 2, where factions or multiplayer was, everyone thought that was coming at the time, and out of nowhere they're like, "Oh no, we're just doing that, and we'll talk about it a day later." Later.
Well, to be fair, factions was kind of tagged on for Last of Us.
Well, I mean, but did you expect? But did you expect a multiplayer before they announced it?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, they had. I remember
Did it
5
ever
months
come
to try
out?
that.
It's coming
No.
out.
It's supposedly coming out.
Supposedly.
But I
Officially
remember they were saying how much.
Over it's
Right,
been
exactly.
over almost a year and a half now, right?
There haven't been 8. There haven't been 8 or 10 Last of Us games with that though. There's been every single mainline Halo game has launched day 1 with co-op.
Yeah, there is a bit of a stronger precedent.
But
Scrap.
still, I think you still everyone was considering it.
But would they still have co-op split screen at least?
No.
I think that I don't know if they're gonna have
co-op. I think couch co-op is still gonna be in Halo.
Like the original Halo, then.
I think.
I don't think so. They were quiet.
Didn't Halo 5 not have that?
Halo 5 didn't have couch co-op.
No, that's what a lot of people were complaining about.
Halo. He said like Halo 1 is what.
Halo 1 only had coach co-op.
But real quick, I just want to piggyback off of what Tim Dog was saying about like the wow factor that Mooch asked about, and unfortunately I was muted. I muted myself. I muted myself at that point in time. But
it wasn't me, Xbot.
When it comes to the gameplay, I think that is the wow factor. Again, I don't necessarily like the art style of the enemies. Like I think the scenery looks really good. I do. When you go across the landscape, when you see how far out you can actually see and all that good stuff, I think all that looks good. But it's the gameplay. When you saw the upgrades that you can put on Master Chief, where all of a sudden your grappling hook will electrocute when it hits an enemy, giving you time to do other things like electrocute, sticky grenade that dude, and all of a sudden go over to this side and do something else. Or when he was able to thrust, and then within his thrust became invisible with the hammer, and the enemy himself reacted to that like, hey, where did you go? Stuff like that. Yeah. I think that's the wow factor. It's going to be in the gameplay itself, and that's
the
what I'm
scenarios that are built upon that,
exactly.
Like that you did and that you accomplished. Well, which listen, I think that's where this seems to be going. Also, the RPG elements that they're talking about.
That's what the side missions are for.
Yeah, I like the idea of you being like Halo, of Master Chief being overpowered, and I like playing a game where you can feel as a character like is overpowered. Like I remember feeling Doom when I played Doom, not Eternal because I can't get past a certain part in that, but the Doom before that where I finished it, where I felt like my main character was super overpowered, super strong. And like
you are right on that, Tim. Doom 2016, you felt like that. The Doom Eternal is definitely got
it kicks my ass. Doom Eternal.
It's got a twist to it. It does have a twist to it.
I can't get past a certain point. It's like I
know the one you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's a pain in the ass.
So I want to, because I promised Tim and Crap that around 9 o'clock hour we would have the show coming closer to an end. But I got Jeff B Gaming, right? You like that? Jeff B Gaming says, shouldn't we expect top-notch gameplay, graphics, and story in our games, whether or not it's free? Stop defending this BS. Jeff is saying basically, especially because a lot of people are saying, well, and I don't think we've said it necessarily tonight, but I think people in general in the community have said, well, the multiplayer is going to be free. So, don't complain it doesn't have this. Don't complain it doesn't have that. It's free.
Can I respond to that real quick?
Sure, go ahead, Xbox.
Warzone.
When it comes down to it, I do feel like again, we're dealing with a semi-open world, and the funny thing about that is they compare it again. I got to give a shout out first off to Sony developers when it comes to their graphics. What they develop in terms of aesthetics are absolutely awesome. When you look at Horizon, when you look at Last of Us, when you look at Uncharted, the graphics are absolutely incredible. Right. But that's part of the game, all right. And I know that's the part that when you're looking at a trailer or when you're in the store, the graphics are the first thing that catch your eye. And I really feel like with what they're doing here, and again, the art style, I could give or take it, but it does look like Halo 1 brought up to today's level. And with that being said, I feel like the graphics are top tier. They might not, they're not Horizon Forbidden West top tier or anything like that. But when you put it together in a whole package, I think you're going to have a very high quality game that a lot of people, when you look at it, a lot of people are going to get into, man.
Yeah. Like look at Back 4 Blood, right? Look at Back 4 Blood. It's not. It's not up to the level of brand new graphics or something like that. It looks good. Love playing it, but it's not up to the level you want. But it's a great game and everyone loves it.
That's actually, believe it or not, Sarks, man, that's probably my game of
Back 4
disappointment for this year, to be honest with you.
What? A game is hard, Mooch. That's what it is.
No, I don't
It's
mean
hard.
difficult. I just coming from being such a big, and Crap knows this. I spoke about it for years and years. I'm a huge Left 4 Dead fan.
I didn't even bother with Back 4 Blood.
And Back 4 Blood is just it's miss. And I'm not a developer, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I can't really tell them what they did wrong. But there's something missing in Back 4 Blood, and I don't know what it is.
Turtle Rock has never recaptured.
It's called love.
That's another
glory.
conversation.
And I don't know why.
Day.
I played it. I tried, and you guys saw we had game footage a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree with me or if you disagree with me, that's fine. I could see where you could say, hey, you know what? I played with a couple of friends. We were having fun while we were doing it, but a lot of the fun was people complaining about like getting killed in a room where there was no enemies. They were shooting through the wall, and it was just kind of a mess. And I don't know. I didn't actually enjoy that game, and I'm genuinely heartbroken about that because you can even go back on Crossfires from early this year. I was so looking forward to that. I love zombie games. I don't give. Everyone else wants to make fun of zombie games. That's fine. I play them. I don't care.
Back it up. Mooch is the zombie maniac.
That's a problem. I got a problem. I'm the only guy. Tim, I'm the only guy still watching. Crap will back this up. I'm the only person left. I'm the only person on the Nielsen ratings watching Walking Dead. I'm the only one left.
We talking about? I watched it.
That
Do you
show,
watch
I
it,
thought
Ben?
that show ended. I thought The Walking Dead ended 2 years
Yo,
ago.
Bet, you watch it?
You ain't the other one. You ain't the one.
Oh my God! Thank God! It's almost like when I met Tim and he told me he was a Met fan. You know what I mean? There's only like 8 Mets fans and there's 2 Walking Dead fans. This is great.
There's Mets fans out there?
A few, 2 on the panel.
Yes.
3 on the panel. 3 on the panel.
Next year, though, Mooch for the last part. That's what I'm pissed off
Are the
about.
Mets
I
still a
know.
team?
I know. We gotta wait till February.
I was just wondering.
Is he dead or not? The
Who?
main
Rick?
character. I heard he's coming back for like.
He's coming back for like 2
now.
movies.
He's doing movies.
He's doing movies.
And Michonne's gonna be.
Tim goes, is he dead?
Well, I know he was in the rubbish.
He was in
You know.
They took him away in a helicopter.
Like that in the damn movie. He's just like, I found him.
But they're tied. Listen, I got news for you. Not that I want to go on a Walking Dead rant, but they legitimately are going. They're tying the other 3 shows. They're tying them all in, and now it's just going to be.
Remember, we'd have to tie up BGST before that shit came on because everybody's like,
Yeah.
we
got Walking Dead. That was when it was
I'm
in its
sorry,
prime.
everyone in the chat. It's
Yeah.
my fault. I started it.
That's
I
all right. No.
apologize.
They used to do that shit to Game of Thrones too, and
Oh, that's another
You
great
love
one.
your Game of Thrones crap. I remember that.
Hey, Mooch.
I don't think Crap did. Yes, go ahead, E.
I have never seen it.
He's
so-
never seen.
Really?
Should
I
though.
thought you watched Game of Thrones. I thought you did.
No.
Go ahead, E.
No, I have a question.
Me neither, Crap.
Brap and I have talked about this because when it comes to the graphics for what we've seen from Halo, and I'm going to say 100%, it looks what they've shown looks 100 times better than what they showed a year ago, right?
Yes.
And again, I still wonder what they were about to put that out. What were they about to put out last year? Before they decided to delay, right?
The way he was shown back then, that's my question.
Right.
Would that really have been what we would have gotten? Like,
It's wild what they were getting ready to drop on the fan base, I guess you could say, But what I'm kind of seeing again is the same people, just basing it off the Twitter bubble, the same ones who were telling people last year that they weren't real fans if they didn't like what they saw. Again, and I brought this up on the show before, until Microsoft decided to delay it, and then that was the move. Right. So now we got this one, and people kind of still saying, yeah, the graphics still look, in some cases look, whatever. And I'm seeing this thing where people are kind of saying, well, Halo's never been about graphics. And I'm like, what?
And Halo.
Those people weren't around for Halo 1, 2, and 3. And
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is I heard people say that on Twitter, and I'm like, here's some screenshots of Halo 5 on an Xbox One X looking fucking phenomenal, right? Like
some of those cutscenes were good.
It's a showpiece. I'm talking in game. These graphics are phenomenal, but I think the main problem with Halo Infinite is they have this 10-year plan, and it's cross-gen. Like it's got to run on a potato from 2013.
Well, they'll knock off Xbox One. They showed a video today.
They should knock that off from the get-go, man.
Yeah, but I think though in a couple of years that the Xbox you're gonna have to play on xCloud if you want to play the whatever Halo. ODST2, whatever.
Right.
ODST2.
They're gonna have to do that.
They're good. It's gonna happen.
But I mean, if you look at it, as far as I've heard, if you're on an Xbox One or an S, you're playing at 30 frames per second multiplayer against
not
people.
Not if you're playing xCloud.
Well, I mean,
60 frames per
I
second.
mean, but no, I don't really think anybody's going to be booting that up to play xCloud, and you're still
I'm
at a
saying, but
disadvantage.
when you're playing though, if you don't have the accessible game anymore, if they drop the coverage, you're gonna have to play at xCloud.
But I mean, but I'm just saying, like at launch, you're gonna have people on an Xbox One or an S playing at 30 frames against people on a Series X or a PC playing at 120, 144 frames per second.
Yeah.
Like that seems, and that's not indicative of keeping people long term, in my opinion, right? Like
then the PC they locked me at
people are gonna
60.
quit pretty quick.
I mean,
if they're getting slapped around at 30
you're
frames.
acting,
I mean,
but you were acting like
I
Xbox
was-
One has a huge
I
install
was on
base.
the
It really
PC
does.
and
but it's got a larger
Yeah.
install base than
Crap.
the Series X or
Crap.
S.
For now, yeah.
Destiny 2 in the multiplayer does the same thing. With Xbox One, it's 30 frames per second, and on Series X and Series
Ugh,
S,
yuck.
it is 60 and 120. And guess what? They have the highest numbers that they have had when it comes to multiplayer across the entire life of Destiny 2 right now. So it's not absolutely guaranteed that the Xbox One 30 frames per second, the people are just going to drop off, man.
On the order of
I
PC,
definitely can
they
see, but
locked me at.
they're gonna
I-
drop the coverage.
did the
though. It's
flight,
gonna happen.
and they locked me at 60 frames. I could not do an unlocked frame rate. I was checking it and double checking if I was running it. Nope. They lock you at 60 frames a second in Halo. You cannot overgo the frame rate. They won't let you.
That
So
sucks.
it's fine. I know, trust me, but it's fine.
Let me get a couple more.
Keep it fair. You know what
Guys,
I'm
let me
saying?
get a couple
Keep it
more of
locked,
these
keep it
super
fair.
chats in, and then I want to ask a couple questions just before we have to leave for the night. But just a guy here, he says, I can hear the disappointment in all your voices. He says, your voice, Xbox is dead. He said, Master Chief was the captain of the ship and should die with some dignity instead of this bare bones last gen free to play incomplete multiplat. Just a guy, that's amazing. He's like an author. That's a lot to write in a super chat.
What game are they coming out with this
He
year?
needs,
I
to,
think-
he needs to play some games. Play offline. That's what I would say to that guy. 'Cause,
Play offline.
Shout out
You're
to
not going to be playing much other than that in December.
Shout out to just a guy. Babor is back, and he says GT Sport alone is bigger than Forza combined. Yeah, GT. That's an interesting rivalry that I'm seeing that's been going on here between Forza and GT. Is
bigger.
Say again.
GT was
You gotta define
Well,
bigger.
GT's
used to be number one. That was their number one problem. There was at
Yeah.
one point GT was. Listen,
Was it?
in the States,
I love
in the
motorsport.
States, it's big, but in Europe, forget it. Like,
right.
GT is like, or was
G-
at one time. It's
Yeah,
still
GT
huge.
I think
GT's an Olympic. It's an Olympic sport now.
Yeah, I think GT is a
which is crazy.
big deal overseas, especially Tim. I think over here in the States, Forza is really
Mooch, it's
caught up.
an Olympic sport now.
Yeah,
Is it?
I think
Okay.
That's nuts. Like GT's hardcore.
Yeah, you brought
man.
that up actually before, Brett. That's right.
Yeah, like it really is. Like it's really hardcore. Like and it's interesting because I think Forza gets, rightfully so, Forza gets a lot of talk around it, buzz. But GT's still like I think
It's
Tim
hard
said
to
in Europe.
compare about GT to Forza Horizon. Totally different.
They are
gotta
totally
be
different.
Yeah.
One's
Yeah.
one's just the real comparison
It's
is motorsport versus GT.
Exactly.
So,
I always say
don't-
let's
you know.
keep it apples to apples, and it's definitely Forza Motorsport versus GT. Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta. He says, Mooch, I just want to play I just want to say that I think Halo Infinite is going to be dope. I'm hyped for it. So the great Sin Vendetta out there. I hope the game lives up to your hype level. We've had a lot of conversations on Xbox Live, and I completely.
Sin, we can play together, Sin. Come on, man. Let's do this.
Well, you can't until they let you, though, Xbox. So nonetheless, there you are. Yeah. JudaZuk says, anyone know if Halo will have forced crossplay, or for the matter of Forza Horizon 5, that Microsoft loves to do, or will there be a way to turn it off?
Well, that's
There's gonna be
actually
3
something
modes.
I was gonna say to Crap. Hey, Crap. They're gonna have dedicated ranked. When it comes to console only, PC only, or crossplay, they're gonna have.
Yeah, you don't have to play crossplay if you don't want.
We were
That's
talking
right.
about that.
There's
they
3
listened,
modes,
Crap.
right?
They listened, man.
So you could play with console only.
Yeah, you
console
could
only.
say you don't want to crossplay.
Okay, this is good. A lot of people were asking for
That's
that, Tim.
good, yeah.
That's
Most
a
of the
big deal.
games are doing that now. They really are. They implement that in there.
Well, actually, I got to say, if Halo does it, it's one of the only ones I know that does, because a lot of them now are kind of forcing you to Like if you want to play Call of Duty Warzone, you can't play Warzone just on console, can you? I don't know. I play with everybody, so I don't know.
I was gonna say, isn't that kind of what's killing Sea of Thieves? Like for people, like you can't.
Can you play Sea of Thieves with?
No, you could play it. Like I think that was an issue, but
you can toggle console only now. Like
you do know the new Battlefield is crossplay too, right? The new Battlefield.
Well, I do think that. Yeah, I think people want they want the ability to have what Halo has, where you can say I don't want to play.
Yeah, choice.
Okay. No, choice is great.
That's what I always felt like it was going to happen with that, and I think that's the smartest way to do it. You know?
Remember when crossplay was the big talking point?
Yeah, but
turn it off.
The Steam players won't be able to play with us. Though.
It's hard to keep it fair when you do that because you see how many people are getting banned from these other games, and 99.99% of the bans are people on PC. You know what I mean? So it's like, like the first thing I do, like when I play Warzone, like I'll play on PlayStation 5, but you can disable crossplay on that on PlayStation 5, but not Xbox. So it's just one of those things where, like for me personally, that's the first thing I do. I turn off crossplay whenever I play something. I couldn't care less about playing with PC crowd or anything because you always wonder. Hey man, that guy. I mean, it even goes back. I remember me and Mooch playing Sea of Thieves early on in the day.
Yeah.
Man, we ran into PC people. They were using all kinds of hacks, and we put holes in their ship. They had 100 holes in their ship. I swam over there, no water coming in. They just started. They could teleport behind us and one shot.
I remember that episode. I remember that episode.
It was bad, man. I was like, what the hell? And then like they really kind of pussyfooted around disabling it. I'm not sure if it's 100% disabled or what the deal is, because what happens is, even what happened with Gears of War 5, right? There was so few people playing on PC that they forced crossplay, even though they didn't originally. They're like, you could turn it off. Then they force it now. Like if you go back to play that multiplayer, you can't turn it off because there's hardly anybody playing it. So that's one of the things that always bothered me about, well, if you lose your player base to PC and you're forced to do that, you lose a bunch of players. It's always like something that I've complained about. And, I think it's great that you that's the way it should always be. Right, like if you don't want to play against, one of the things that I like about consoles is that it's uniform, right? I mean, at least that's how it used to be, right? Like if I'm playing somebody, they're not going to have an advantage over me. They can't turn down foliage or, like Mooch, you seen that shit, right? We used to watch, like we were watching PUBG or something. I don't know. It might have been Mikey Barr at the time playing.
Yeah, it was PUBG. Turn down the foliage so you can see people.
Turn down the foliage. Dude thought he was in the bushes. No bushes on the other guy's screen, because you just turn it down. So it's always like I would much rather just play a fair fight against people that are on the same hardware as me, so there's no disadvantages and things like that. That's how I've always felt about that. And I hope that it does. I'm personally not playing Halo until co-op's implemented. I've played through every Halo with my brother co-op, and I plan to continue that. So until they put in the co-op, I have no interest in playing that. But I hope it's good and and it's what everybody wants. I'm not really a Halo multiplayer person, but the single player lore has always been really good and a great aspect of that game. So hopefully if people are happy with it, then they're happy with it. Like for me, I don't think, I don't know, like that's a showpiece. Halo's always been a showpiece. I don't care what anybody says. That game looks, doesn't look like a showpiece to me. At the end of the day, like the multiplayer, like I'm not a capture the flag guy, Mooch, so I'm not going to speak on that one way or the other. It played like Halo. Like, I mean, I guess that's going to be good. The one critique I would have about it was the leveling system seemed really weird to me, where you play 20, 30 matches and I was like level 2 or something. Like, I don't understand. Like, it seems like you have to do specific things or whatever to level up, and not just win a match or win a, you know what I'm saying, and play objectively or whatever. That could be a problem later on for people. For me personally, that's why I like Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like Call of Duty, I have that pre-ordered. It's going to be I'm looking forward to jumping in.
I am too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand, and Bit said it earlier. PV said people are tired of Call of Duty, and
everybody says that every year.
I do hear that every year. And then there's 7 million people playing live.
I've been hearing that for 10 years, Mooch.
Yeah.
10 years I've been hearing that, and everyone's on Call of Duty.
Everybody says they're tired of Warzone. Yeah. Like you say, it's the top 3 slots on Twitch for streaming, and it's like the most, I don't know. So like I get it. If you're personally tired of it. I can't talk you into
Where'd you
it.
get it?
But I think at the same time, I think it's. I still think Call of Duty's always going to be Call of Duty.
Back then, BRAP, when it took on Call of Duty, they took like 2.5 years to make a game. Now it's like repetitive, like John Madden. You can't have that much innovation.
People complain about
game. Yeah, you can't have that much innovation in a game when you keep bringing it out every year. You're gonna stick to the same formula. I know you got multi studios that make different Call of Duties, but they all still kind of feel the same. You've got to change. Just like people complain about Halo needs to change, Call of Duty needs to change also. Just don't go back to World War II or nothing like that. It doesn't matter about that. You need to change your mechanics. You need to make it.
X-Men until like they still have a dominant,
I know.
Consumer
fan
base.
Yeah.
That even though they complain about it, at the end of the day, they still make their money. So I think what they're thinking of over there is like, yeah, you say you don't want World War II, and I agree with you on that one. And I'm not big into like war type. Like I like sci-fi shooters, man. I'm not into like real world and all that good stuff.
But you love Battlefield 4.
My bad. No, not. I played with my friends. That's where the fun was there.
Always.
That was pretty much it. But until the consumer base really kind of like speaks with their wallet, like if they don't want a World War II, then you don't buy the World War II. Until that starts happening, man, they're gonna hear what people say and that they're complaining. They're gonna be like, well, they're just gonna buy it anyway. So we're putting it out.
Follow their friends, but they always follow.
Well, let me do this because I got some more super chats and we're hitting that 9 o'clock mark. I do want to get a couple of these super chats. And JudaZuk comes back. He says, "Anyone know if Halo will have force?" I apologize, JudaZuk. I already read that. My apologies. The great Sim Vendetta says, "Yo, Bit." So Bit, this is a question for you, Bit. He says, "What happened to Blaze in his Souls duel challenge? He disappeared." So I guess Souls, is he still doing it, Bit?
I don't even know. I asked him what that was about. Like, Sin Vendetta.
Sin Vendetta will hold you to any Souls championship. You got to be careful.
Sin Vendetta won't even step to me in Souls games. What are you trying to say?
Oh, wow. Man,
What's up, Sin?
Where are you at? He's like, I'm on my couch at home listening to Crossfire. Shout out, right? Shout out to JudaZuk. He is back. He says, yes, Dr. Disrespect wants Battle Royale so he can play it to his viewers. Yes. Is that bad? Question mark. He says, that's not what they want. He said, people want to play it on streams to keep the game alive. Yeah, so JudaZuk, that's what we were talking about earlier, guys, so I'm not rehashing this all over again. But yes, there is definitely, as XBot448 has mentioned, yes, of course, Dr. Disrespect is saying that because his interests are in Battle Royale. But I do think something like Battle Royale or I'll leave it open. Like I said, let 343 come up with it. A new mode to enthrall people to keep playing for months and months and hopefully years and years later, I think is needed because I do believe, even though nobody will say it out loud right now, I do believe that Capture the Flag and other older type of modes will become a bit, I'm using the word stale feeling after 3 or 4 months. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm just saying we've been playing those modes for a very long time. So I do think something, and I think that's what the doc was trying to say. I'm not putting words in his mouth by no means. I'm just saying to keep the game relevant. So shout out to JudaZuk for reinforcing that. The great Sir X-Man says, hit that like button, everybody. Sir X-Man's 100% right. Thank you very much. Wubzilla's here. He says, if Tim thinks The Last of Us should have been docked for lack of multiplayer, should Ghost of Tsushima get a score bump for free multiplayer?
No, I think that you're just making excuses. You probably wanted that game to have a multiplayer because let's be honest, Sony doesn't have that many multiplayer games, and that was one of their. I remember an article that said the people are still playing The Last of Us multiplayer, and a lot of the Sony guys were like, yeah, hey, look at this, and then there's no multiplayer, and they're like, oh, it's okay. But anyway, I have to get going.
Yes, Tim, I was just going to say, Tim said to me 9 o'clock, and I said, Tim, we will always do it. Tim, I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for being here tonight. It truly means the world to us. And you know what? If you anything you want to plug it away, and if not, I got news for you. I'll reach out to you. We got to get you back on the show because I didn't even get a chance to answer you the last 2 or 3 questions. But Tim, thanks for being here tonight, and I can't wait for your return.
Will be. It was a great show.
All right, Tim. Catch you later, buddy. Thank you.
Take care.
Good talking to you again.
So shout out to Tim Dog. He did tell me that before. He goes, I got to leave at 9 o'clock on the nose. I go, we're probably going to be doing a few more super chats, and we usually have another topic, but nonetheless. I want to go here, and I apologize. I lost it right there. Oh, John H. is here, and he says, Halo is like an action movie trying to win an award when dramas are king to win awards, but they are trying to change that with story and action. So I'm wondering if I'm getting, John's message across here. Are you guys reading that the way I am? He says, Halo is like an action movie trying to win an award when dramas are king to win awards, but they are trying to change that with. So he's saying that they're changing pace here, and that's what they're trying to do.
He's saying they're trying to change the trend,
right,
from that drama type experience, kind of winning these awards, and they're hoping that with the action that's in Halo, huh?
No, I was talking about Mooch. He a little tryhard in this gameplay. No.
Oh, come on, Ben!
Wow, that was
rude. You should see me in the warm-up lobbies. I get real sweaty. Yeah. I don't care. I'm like, I got 5 kills. I don't care.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Honestly, I've got a problem. I've legitimately. You guys know this. I've actually staggered some of my Warzone play because, and it sucks because sometimes I'll hit like record. And sometimes I don't record it, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, when I record it, sometimes I have like mediocre footage. You guys will see some. I love this game. I'm playing it at least 2-3 rounds a day minimum. I love this. It's kept me from some great single player games, which is why my backlog is through the roof.
This is your new destiny.
This is my addiction, dude. I really do like Warzone. To me, it's a me problem.
This is why Halo needs Battle Royale. What you just described.
Listen, I got news for you.
Lord.
Look, I know we're beating a dead horse there with what BRAP's saying, but whether it's Battle Royale or their interpretation of a Battle Royale, I welcome it.
Gameplay experiences.
Destiny need a Battle Royale, BRAP. Does Destiny need a Battle Royale?
No. Destiny needs to be put to bed.
I don't think Destiny needs. Yeah.
Oh no.
Wow. Don't let Luca hear you say that. You're in trouble, bro. The great Jeff B Gaming here. He says top tier graphics ? The sparks from the drop ship came from the N64 days. Jeff B is not impressed with that campaign footage.
How did the ship look, and how did the environment look, and how
love that new hover ship they got, the one with the 2 fans on the side. That thing is beautiful.
Out of a whole list of things, like I even made fun of the sparks in the beginning, but does that mean that the entire game looks like trash because of those little sparks that they put in there that they didn't even need to have in there at that point in time? No. That's what I'm saying. It's the whole thing. You could point to these little things and say that, but when it comes down to it, I think as a whole, the game looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
when back in the day,
but Xbox, should a game look good with infinite money and infinite amount of resources? Should a game of that stature be good or great?
Again, when it comes to the art style, I think that is the major point.
The art style is a choice. That's a choice.
I am not a fan of that, but within that art style, then you get the look coming from that core creation. You know what I'm saying? And if they're going back and they're trying to bring that Halo 1 kind of like feel up into Halo Infinite, and that's exactly what I see when I look at all the pine trees and stuff like that. That's what I saw in Halo 1, but of course on original Xbox graphics, and now with this one you see it like turned up to 11. A lot of it is art style more than anything else. They built this new engine. I think a lot of the wow factor and such is something called gameplay, guys. Like gameplay.
That's what I was trying to say.
Gameplay is going to be where it's at when it comes to Halo. I think the cutscenes are going to look great. I think the vistas look absolutely incredible when you just like pan across the Halo. I saw areas where it was burnt, like there was battles going on, and of course wildlife roaming through it and stuff. I think there's a lot of spots in it that you can look at it and be like, wow, that really looks good. But if you want to focus on those sparks and only those sparks, it's all you, bro. You do that, man.
I need to rewatch the video and watch the pan up to the sky when you saw the other part of the Halo ring, and you saw a totally different atmosphere other than a forest up there. You have to pause that and see.
Different biomes,
and it looked totally good. You can't see super detail because it's so high up on the ring, on the in the sky, but you saw the different areas. And maybe they're gonna let you explore more of the areas in the ring that you never were able to explore. That's why they're talking about being a little bit more open world with the game, you know? And, you know, okay, no more talking about Halo. I'm done.
Well, real quick, Jeff B. Gaming comes in. He says, someone who wants to be a professional racer isn't going to play Forza, they're going to play GT. So Jeff definitely reinforcing his love.
No, a professional racer going to play iRacing.
Oh.
That's where they really race at. That's the real sim. And I'm going to have a subscription for it.
Oh, there it is. There, Jeff B., now you know where to go. I do, you know, the thing is, and shout out to Jeff Grubb, who's here in the chat. He says, I think that people are trying to make the Sparks the new Craig face. You know, yes. So I see where Jeff, you know, they're going to go ahead and nitpick and point out. I definitely would not sit here and do a full show on it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I guess I'll leave it at this. I'll leave a top level, and it's what I said a moment ago. When you have infinite sums of money and infinite resources, should the game after 6 years look to that fashion? If your answer is yes, then that's where your standards are set at. Other people are thinking with the world's most powerful console and, you know, Microsoft's war chest that it would look different. Now, do I think that's I didn't see the Sparks and go, well, that's it, I'm out. I didn't count myself out from the Sparks. Yeah. So I'm with you, Jeff. I don't think that's a big deal. But at the same time, I do see where some people see it and go, wow, you know, that's, you know, when you hear Disney's making a movie or you know, Amazon bought this and they're creating that. When you hear that Microsoft or Apple are doing something, you know, that's why when you go back to Bendgate, if you will, the iPhone 6, and when you sat on it in your pocket, it bent slightly. You know, people were like, wait a minute, you know, you're Apple, right? You don't do that. Like, you're not supposed to do that. And I know all you Apple haters are going to have a field day with this session. But I'm just trying to say to you that there was a legitimate gripe. You know, when you have all the money in the world and you have all the access to everything you can do and all the engineers at your will, shouldn't you have tested that a phone bends in your pocket? Right now, that doesn't. Now you can run a Mac truck over it and it won't even, like, smudge. So,
or catch on fire.
It won't do that either. Those were Samsungs. But nonetheless, they were.
I know.
I heard
Thank you. Thank you. The great Jeff B. Gaming's back. He says the Sparks show a lack of attention to detail with all the money and resources is a damn shame. That's what I'm saying. And Jeff's being a little bit more blunt about it, which I don't blame him. I mean, you know, he's a customer as well. But I mean, at the same time, it is an interesting conversation piece again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you could say that it doesn't matter, and it may not matter to you. I'm not going to say it should, but it is for people that think it's puzzling. I also think it's a valuable conversation to have.
Oh, dude, it had me scratching my head as well. Like, why did they even put that in there? Like, They didn't have to put that in there. But then again, I did watch all 6 minutes as well. So by the time I was done with it, you know, seeing the whole Banshee thing, seeing the whole
Hammer plans about Destiny and all the sparks that it has.
Hey, when I looked at it all, you know, those sparks kind of went to the back of the bus, basically, man.
Right.
Destiny has sparks in places that it shouldn't have sparks. But nobody complained, but no one ever complains about it, though. I got Destiny too, bro. So
I think the sparks probably came up too because for the most part, the game, what they showed us looked really good. So I think to see that was kind of took you back a little bit. Like, wait a minute, like what's going on here? Considering how great everything else looked, I think that's why it was kind of brought up.
It was brought up, yeah, and it was interesting
because everything else did look really good. It was kind of like,
in other words, they were nitpicking, right, BRAP? They were nitpicking.
Oh no, I think he's saying they're not nitpicking, is what I think BRAP's saying that the game looked good, and then they saw that, and that was puzzling.
Yeah, like it was out of place for how the rest of the game looked,
right?
Which is why I think it's come up in conversation.
It was definitely out of place.
And what do you think, Xbox? Now, when you say it's out of place, are you claiming that it's out of place and it shouldn't have been there, or it should be fixed, or it's out of place and it was done deliberate?
If they were going to put it in there, I mean, it looked like a flat 2D kind of like motion image of sparks. Like they weren't going in different directions or anything like that. It was really rudimentary. It was very basic. And with it being so basic, I was like, why did they even put that in there? Because it didn't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? They didn't.
Yeah.
Like when it dropped in, it could have just dropped in. You could have heard the clunk and the bang, and that would have been it. Like nobody would have been like, hey, where are the sparks? There were no sparks when when that ship hit the
but
platform.
you know,
is that a
somebody
tribute?
would have said where the sparks at.
Is that a tribute to the old Halo as well, Xbot?
No.
When with the clunking of the ship going down like that?
I just like the realism, because how are you going to drop a ship down that isn't being operated by anybody? It's being dropped in from a Pelican. Like, how are you going to drop it down and have it land softly? You're not. You're going to have the Pelican get as close as it can to the ground, and it's just going to release it, and hopefully it doesn't break the thing.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. So I was cool at how it was kind of funny to me, and you got to be able to giggle, to laugh a little bit when you're when you're in a game that you're meant to be playing for like a while, or whatnot. So I had no problem.
Yeah,
with
I mean,
that.
so it's funny because I understand where, like I say, Jeff Grubb's coming from, and what you just said, Xbot. You know, we all do, right? This is the world we live in now. We dissect everything, right? Like, and we didn't get to the topic, but PlayStation's had their PC store, if you will, or not store, pardon me, but they've had that branding since like April, or now we're hearing from as way back as late last year, and then they just do the PC labeling, and it's PC, and now everyone's like, oh, that means they're gonna do it. They've had this, so I mean, like you say, we dissect everything, we look at everything through such a scope these days that I think that's where, like you said, Xbot, we're playing a game, you're supposed to have fun. I don't know. I think they kind of did it. I think 343 did it with a bit of humor. The clunk, the landing, the sparks, because they clearly saw the sparks. I mean, if we saw the sparks, they saw the sparks. So I mean, clearly that they fully intended for that to be the case. How that is and how that came about and whose decision it was, I don't know. And I don't know. I don't think that impacts people's. People they didn't see the sparks and then say they weren't going to buy it. That being said, guys, we are over the 2-hour mark here, and I did promise some of the panel members that we would wrap it up around the 2-hour mark. So, and Tim Dog had to leave, Crap had to leave. We still have the great Xbot 448, who usually has to leave right around 9 o'clock as well.
Dude, you stuck with us last night on Next Podcast, so the least I could do.
That was a 3-hour podcast.
Damn, 3 hours. How do you sleep in that?
Check it out. It got
Bit, the funny part about it though, Bit, was the conversation before the show was, I was like, Xbot, I really got to get off by 10 p.m. And he's like, no problem, dude. We'll make that happen. And it was 11.
Whenever you like.
I was like, oh
that's
man.
That's Yo and K Mega fault, Mooch. That's Yo and K Mega fault.
Well, I will. Listen. That's why I stayed there and I enjoyed it, because I have to agree with Sir X, man. It was me and K Mega that was pretty much talking so much. So.
Yeah, what did I have, like 4 minutes yesterday in conversation, and then it's like back in K Mega and Mooch again.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's why you got your words in tonight, though, Sir X, man. You made up for that. I got news for you.
I had to find my spot.
Well, that's what Crossfire is all about.
I know. I know how Crossfire works.
We'll go in reverse order here. Let me say, the great Bit Cloud, say thank you to Bit. Bit, listen, I know you had a full day. You had preparation for your show, outstanding show. RGT, just an amazing guest you had, by the way, too.
I got a quick question for Bit Cloud.
Go
Bit
ahead.
Cloud, when did you become Bot Cloud? I saw that in the live chat today.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
That's new to me.
Bot Cloud?
Bot Cloud.
Are you serious?
Bot Cloud Gaming
doesn't even game as much as me as calling me a Bot Cloud. I love it.
I was like, playoffs?
He's gonna love this. No, he's gonna.
We can officially say Meta who, Bit Cloud. We can officially say Meta who.
You could have jumped on the bandwagon with me and said it for how long now? Come on, bro.
Hey man, I'm gonna need a check for that, sir. Too much green.
No, plug that channel, Bit, because Bit, I gotta be honest with you, I'm really, really psyched that you got Sean on the show, man, because I checked it out for a little bit. And I saw you, Blaze, and Sean on. He's just a great guest, dude. He's full of energy. Yeah. I've been subscribed to Sean RGT85 for a very, very long time. He's another East Coaster with our attitude. You know what I mean? So
he's real laid back, cool, chill dude.
Facts.
It was a good show. Love talking.
But yeah, plug
him.
the channel, but let people know about it because it was a great show.
Oh yeah, thank you. Big Cloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Next week we're gonna be working with IGN on a project, so I'm gonna be letting that loose.
Nice.
Next week we'll see what's up. I'll tell you what it is off air, but yeah,
I appreciate
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So I can't wait for that, and obviously big interview on the 5th of November. So yeah, a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff.
It's like the Tonight Show of gaming
I
podcast,
tried,
man.
I tried.
No, do your thing,
tried.
Bit. You're doing outstanding, man. Love the work that you do. Just overall, amazing job on the channel, bro. Jeff B. Gaming's back. He says, didn't the same Xbox gamers troll about Aloy's face, but can't criticize Halo? Shake my head. Jeff B. is
Not me.
Jeff B's out there. He's got his receipts, apparently. Yes, Jeff remembers everything.
I can't cash checks. You know what I'm saying? That other people sign real quick. That's not me.
Shout out to Jeff B. Then I got Eric Jackson. Listen, I know you had a lot of family stuff, man, and you said to me, Mooch, I'm going to be at the show. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be late. And listen, you do what you always do great. You deliver, man. So the voice of reason, outstanding. You came in right at the right time. You came in and you're like, hold on, don't shut that door. Stuck his foot right in there and made one hell of a comment. Eric, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Again, I know you had a lot of stuff, but let people know where they can find you. And looking forward to next time where we can get you for the full 2 hours.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's shoot for next Friday.
Facts. Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. But always appreciate coming through, man. Appreciate the invite. But you can find me on Twitter, EC Jackson with an X. And when I'm not there, you can find me, I guess, hanging out with Enrique on BRAP sometimes. Whatever. and then Tuesday nights, Gaming Perspective podcast at 8 o'clock.
Thank you, E. I appreciate that. Shout out to X-Hawk. He goes, Mooch should even mention State of Play. I wonder why. I think everybody in the panel and you, X-Hawk, will agree. State of Play was lackluster, as my tweet said. There was not a whole lot there. It would have been a very quick segment on Crossfire tonight. But yes, X-Hawk, I'll bring it up for you. You are right.
There you go. That's how uneventful that State of Play was.
Yeah. It really was, Ben. It was bad. Shout out to Sir X-Man. Sir X-Man, listen, I got news for you. Last night, I took way too much microphone time. You said, I'm coming on Crossfire. I said, you are, Sir X-Man. You're a Mooch Maniac family member. Always great to have you here. Let people know where they can find you, and thanks for being here this evening.
I'll make this quick because my girl looking at me and she mad because she wants me to food. So, just Sir X-Man oh my God. Sir X-Man on Xbox with 2 spaces on each side of the M. I'm X. Sir X-Man 1 on Twitch. Sir X-Man on Twitch. That's about it.
Nice, Sir X-Man. I appreciate that. And then I got my buddy who are here, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Meta BRAP to you guys tonight and from now on. BRAP, outstanding. I know that you also had some stuff going on with the family and Halloween, but I apparently did what I was supposed to do, enough praying, got the rain gods to rain down, and got BRAP all day here. So, BRAP, I apologize you couldn't do your family activity because of the outside rain, but I'm glad you were here for a full 2 hours, buddy. Let people know where they can find you, and great to have you here tonight.
Oh man, it was great to be back. This would have been like the third week in a row.
I know
I would have missed, but no, it was great to come back. And a great show. Hey, by the way, great to see Tim Dog. I haven't seen Tim Dog in quite some time. I think it's the last time he was on the show was probably May of this year, I think, or April. I don't remember. But no, great show. You can find me and Eric Jackson every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Basement Radio K Podcast on YouTube. Come hang out with us. We talk all things video games and mostly have a good time doing so. But great show, Mooch, as always. Great guest. Sir X-Men, I will say this. PC will be the best place to play Halo Infinite, and I'll leave it at that.
PC Master Race, huh?
It's so good. The great BRAP has to throw a jab in there. And last but certainly not least,
and PlayStation games, too.
The great Xbot 448. Xbot, usually I do a plug for you every night, but it's great to have you here doing your own plug because you do it a hell of a lot better than I do. It was outstanding to have the Xbox defense lawyer here with us tonight, buddy. Let people know where they can find you. And again, great next podcast yesterday.
Yeah, thank you, bro. If you guys haven't checked it out, Sir X-Man and Mooch were on Next Podcast last night. Go ahead and check that out on my channel named Xbot448. And I keep it simple. Everything across the board, social media stuff, everything is Xbot448. You definitely want to tune in to next week's next podcast because we have the creator of We Bleed Green, WBG, that is right, Dirt Griggity, will be joining us as
very good, guest. Very cool.
So it is going to be an
Shout
awesome show.
Awesome, dude.
It's simple. I mean, you have green cups, you have green napkins, you got it all in that damn show.
Shout out to Dirt.
Mooch, Sir X-Man definitely had a blast last night, man. It got energized. That was an energetic
If you're gonna have
show.
Mooch on your podcast, it's two things. You're gonna run late, and it's going to be loud.
You
I
said
promise.
3 hours.
They're
But
gonna
it was
need-
3
no.
hours of
Bit's like, well, wait a minute. I'll
all
have to do a day show then. Bit. Bit's like, note taken. X-Men, no, you
Great. Why is he yelling? Because it's Mooch.
You know what
That's
somebody
why
said
he's
on the
yelling.
show? You know what somebody said, Bit, yesterday? Somebody goes, well, you know what Mooch does? Every time he talks, he just raises his volume on his mic. The hell I do.
Yeah, I saw
Nah,
that.
the hell you do. You
I
kill
do
our
not,
damn
man.
Mooch.
I'm nowhere near the volume, if you will. It's the volume is the vocal cords, my good friends. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
Italiano experience.
It's just
right
a New Yorker, man. In New York, here's what we do. When you're 100, well, you know what? No, Xbot, you nailed it. 50% of it's because being 100% Italian is one thing. The other thing is New York. We're all trying to out-talk each other. So you just keep
Yeah.
getting louder. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think we were all screaming our heads off at each other, but we're really just asking you to pass another slice of pizza over. You know what I mean? It's not really that, you know, it's all friends and family here. But no, honestly, great show tonight. I'll do a quick plug here. Shout out to @xCloud Tim Dog again. Tim was on the show. Tim will be joining us possibly. We'll get him back in another month or so. See if we get Tim back on right around the Halo release time. See, get his opinions and what's going on in the industry over on the Xbox side as we get closer and closer to the Halo release. And of course, there's Crap Gamer. It's _Crap Gamer on Twitter, and it's Crap Gamer Reviews on YouTube. Guys, please do go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're feeling so humble, go ahead and hit that join button, become the Mooch Maniac family members. And please go over and check out twitch.tv, the Mooch78. Same as here, the Mooch78. Go over there real quick. It takes 2 seconds and just hit the follow button. We have a big thing coming up this week on Twitch this Thursday night. So, guys, go over, check it out, follow. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be great. We'll be back next Friday. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. If I did, well, shame on me. I apologize in advance. We got everybody, I think. So, guys, we'll see you next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy your gaming weekend and try out Guardians of the Galaxy. I really think you guys will enjoy it. Peace out and enjoy your weekend.